brings the ultimate brightness in black levels so the picture stays perfectly clean from kickoff to the final drive.
It's so clear you can almost smell the fresh cut grass. You see the ball spin on a deep shot, the toe drag on the sideline, no blur, no hold up, run it back, and go big. The Ultimate Series is available in a massive 98-inch class, so every seat's a great seat, not just the people in the middle.
98 inches? If you can't be in the stadium, TCL Ultimate Series is the next best seat. Available at all major retailers. TCL, the official TV partner of the NFL, here for Super Bowl 60.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouthwatering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our #1 priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. Gubrud's.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's. Gubrud's. Gabrud's.com.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker-owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at bfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, bfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
The voice of Sacramento sports is back.
Hear Grant Napear every weekday beginning at 3 right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento. Hello, Sacramento.
Sacktown.
And welcome in.
Grant Napear. How you been?
You know this guy.
It's your show.
So happy to hear you on the airwaves.
2+ decades on the radio with you.
Just the start of an incredible journey.
Now he's back on Fox Sports 104.7 FM and 890 AM.
3 to 6 every day, Fox Sports Sacramento.
The phone number?
916-779-0929.
His name? Grant Napear.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, get me to the weekend and the NFL playoffs. Buffalo at Denver, San Francisco at Seattle. That's tomorrow. Houston, New England, and then the Rams and the Bears in frigid conditions in the Windy City on Sunday. 49ers, Seahawks. I really believe the winner of this game's going to the Super Bowl. We're going to talk a lot about this matchup. And we're also going to talk about an interesting number, the quarterbacks that are playing in the playoffs this weekend. Matthew Stafford, first selection in the draft. Caleb Williams, first selection in the draft. C.J. Stroud, taken second overall in his draft. Sam Darnold, third. Drake May, third. Josh Allen, seventh. Bo Nix, 12th. And Brock Purdy, 262nd. 262. How about that? So 2 number 1 picks going at it in the Windy City. Stafford, who, of course, has been to the show and won a Super Bowl, and Caleb Williams. And again, you know, you always talk about what weather can do to a football game. How will it impact the game? Obviously, you would think that this would favor Chicago, the cold weather, but there are a number of players that are on the Rams that have played for cold weather teams, such as Devontae Adams in Green Bay, Matthew Stafford in Detroit. And even though they played inside, their road games at Chicago and at Green Bay were not inside. You look at, okay, so what will the forecast be? In other words, what the forecast looks like and what it actually will be at kickoff, right? Winds are definitely going to be an issue. I don't think there's any doubt about that. The low is going to be about 9 degrees. Factor in the wind chill. And then you were talking about, oh, yeah, it's going to be cold, as you would expect in Chicago, right? I don't think the winds, based on what I'm seeing, are going to be brutal. Low teens. You know, you've got all the heaters on the sideline. Quarterbacks can use hand warmers. Going to be very interesting. We're going to talk about that, the other matchups. Grant's Rant, going to be a little different coming up today at 5 o'clock. I hope you like it. It's something I've noticed, and I'm just like, I don't understand. It's like I don't understand the purpose of it. So I'm hoping that somebody can help me out with that, because I honestly don't. I have no idea what the purpose of it is, and I'm going to rant on it today at 5 o'clock. So let's get into the 49ers and the Seahawks. Such an intriguing game. Third meeting of the year, week 1, and then the final week of the season. Think about that. They opened up the season in Seattle, and the Niners held on and won as the Seahawks were driving. And now you fast forward to week 18, the matchup for the number 1 seed that was dominated by Seattle. The Niners, of course, without a couple of real key players on the field for that game. And when you look at this matchup, Trent Williams back. Looks like Ricky Pearsall will be on the field. What about Sam Darnold? Was the little twinge that he felt in his oblique something that's not a big deal, or will it be an issue as you go through this game? Will we be talking a lot about that after the game? The Seahawks were favored by as many as 8.5, I believe, when the line came out. I think it's down to 7 now, which I still think is a lot for this game. Over under, if you're into it, 45.5. Who's going to win this game and why? How do you think this game is going to go? Seattle, obviously, in a great position, week off, well rested. We know their defense is the real deal. What does it come down to? The same thing that most games come down to, and that's turnovers. I would not think we'd be talking about a 49ers victory if Sam Darnold throws 2 interceptions the same way he had 2 interceptions against Philadelphia. I don't think that is going to get it done. Now, on the other hand, will Darnold take care of the football? Will the Seahawks ride their momentum into a win? I just think a divisional game, and I understand the Niners were in Philadelphia, and I get all of that, but a divisional game with these two teams, even though the Niners were held without a touchdown a few weeks ago in the finale, 7 points is a lot in this game. 7 points is a lot. Like, I'm surprised that at the number, and I'm just wondering why is that? I know it's a betting line, so I get that. But that's, to me, significant. It really is. It's significant to me. I'm just thinking a divisional game for what these teams are playing for. 7 points. It's a lot. Now, when you look at the situation, all right? We talk about Luke Gifford, D. Winters, Ricky Pearsall, all questionable. You know, Pearsall to me is really key in the sense that it really does give Brock Purdy another weapon and a real go-to guy. So I think it's going to be interesting to see, assuming he plays tomorrow, how effective will he be and how will he be utilized. It's just somebody, if you're on Seattle, you must deal with him and you have to account for him. And so I'm going to go back to the opening toss here. If you win the toss tomorrow night, okay? If you're Seattle, I think you defer and you put your defense on the field. What about the 49ers? You know, I think in this game, I know that what I said last week, I wanted the ball. I wanted the 49ers to get the ball and dictate the tempo of the game, kind of settle the crowd down, and they were able to do that with a nice drive. I'm thinking on the game tomorrow night, if I'm San Francisco, I think I might want to put my defense on the field. Going to be interesting to see who gets the ball first tomorrow. And, you know, again, I know the strength of the Seattle team is their defense. And for that reason, I think maybe I'm going to put my defense on the field against the Seattle offense. I want to see Sam Darnold. I'm going to be watching him very closely in warmups. If I'm the 49ers, I mean, you are going to have cameras zooming in on Darnold's face during the warmups tomorrow to see if he's grimacing at all, to see if his throwing motion is compromised at all. That's going to be a very interesting warm-up session tomorrow because all eyes are going to be on Darnold. All eyes. You know, Mike McDonald, the head coach of Seattle, expressed a lot of confidence today that Darnold's going to be fine, no issue. We'll see. But that's going to be an interesting warm-up tomorrow, boy. It really is. That's going to be something. There's going to be, you know how many cameras are going to be on the face of Darnold to see what his expression is after throwing the ball? Yeah, keep an eye on that tomorrow. And, of course, the first game tomorrow, and you talk about the experience of the Buffalo Bills, and particularly Josh Allen, against the Denver team that earned the number 1 seed. They have a really good defense. Their offense can be invisible at times. Okay, let's just call it the way it is. They can be invisible at times, but yet when they need to play, Bo Nix seemingly always gets the job done. They always find a way to win the game. The Bills have activated defensive tackle Ed Oliver and wide receiver Curtis Samuel off injured reserve. You look at Denver, again, week off. Young, inexperienced playoff quarterback against Josh Allen. You know, the Ed Oliver return is interesting because he's a defensive tackle. They've really dealt with a lot of injuries at that position. It was, I think, at the end of October, you know, he had surgery on his biceps. And then he had another injury, a meniscus issue when he was rehabbing. And he had another procedure on the 29th of December. Oliver was quoted as saying, "It's just a long time coming. I kind of just stayed the course even when the tunnel seemed dark and the light at the end of the tunnel seemed so far away." He only played in 3 games this season. But he's really good. He's really good. So we'll see how that helps the Buffalo Bills. Samuel, by the way, has not played since November 16th. We'll see how that works out for the Buffalo Bills. Weather's not going to be an issue in any of these games, or at least it does not appear that the weather's going to be an issue in any of the games except for the game Sunday night in Chicago with the Bears and the Rams. What about the Houston Texans? What about the New England Patriots? Not good news for Houston, as they're going to be down a really good wide receiver. The Pro Bowler Nico Collins, not able to make it back from the concussion that he had last week in the win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. So he will not be on the field. Of course, you know, when you look at Houston, they're going to win this game. Well, I shouldn't say they're going to win or lose the game on defense. They are going to have to score a little bit. And I don't think you're going to be able to see C.J. Stroud play as poorly as he did against Pittsburgh and win at Foxborough. But defense travels. This is a unbelievable defense. I got to believe this is going to be a very low-scoring game. I can't imagine a lot of points being scored in this game. I just can't. I've got to believe this is going to be a very low-scoring game. I don't think that it gets above the teens. I'd be shocked. I really would. I'd be shocked if this game gets in the 20s. I don't see it. Both these teams defensively are good, whereas, you know, Houston's defense is more than good. I know Drake May has had a great year, but against this defense, I just don't see a lot of points being scored. So I'm thinking this is going to be in the teens, this game. I really do. I think this is a low-scoring game. I think all 4 games have the potential to be, like, really close. Really close. Broncos, Bills, I think close. Denver, by the way, favored by 1.5. Patriots, Texans, New England, and some of the lines I'm seeing about 3. Seattle, 7-point favorite. You know, the Bears, by the way, are getting points at home. You know that, right? Be interesting. We're going to have our picks for you in the final segment of the show today. So I'm looking forward to that to get you ready for the weekend. Speaking of the weekend, the Kings are in action tonight, taking on Washington, looking for their 4th win in a row. Domantas Sabonis, what will be the story for him? Good to see Domantas Sabonis back, available for action, practicing, cleared. Let's see how long he can stay healthy. It has not been a good year for a guy that you normally can depend on for 82 games a year or close to it. Kings 11-30, Wizards 10-29. You know what the talk's going to be, right? Speaking of the talk, we'll have it post-game show right after YouTube, X, Jerry Reynolds, Ryan in Sacktown, myself. So here we go. Kings, Wizards, looking for their 4th in a row. Washington's been playing a little better. right? They'll be very curious to see. And then now we got Keon Ellis, and his availability is in question. So we'll see. He's got left knee soreness. The Wizards, obviously, Trae Young's not playing. We know that. They've missed Chris Middleton. But they've been playing better. Both these teams have been playing better. Not great, but better. Kings have been playing. I mean, if you want to look at the totality of the season, yeah, their last 3 games were very good, all without Dennis Schroeder. So to me, a real key in this game tonight is going to be how many minutes will these guys play? So how many minutes is Schroeder going to play? What does that do to Monk? If Ellis is not available, then it won't have any impact there. What does it do for Nick Clifford? Keep an eye on that tonight. Again, Washington 10-29. As I said, they've been playing better. I mean, you couldn't really play much worse. Same story with the Kings. I say they've been playing better. I'm aware that they've lost 4 in a row, but they've won 4 of their last 10, which is better than what the Kings have done in their last 10 when they're 3-7. So we'll see. They should win this game if you're Sacramento, and Doug Christie made that clear in practice yesterday. This is a game that you're expected to win. Generally, the games that we expect the Kings to win, they lose, and the games that you think they have no chance, they somehow end up winning. It's kind of odd how that all works out. Let me pass out the phone numbers. You can call the show. You can text the show, and we can talk about the 49ers, the NFL, the NBA. Where are you if you are a 49ers fan with your confidence level for tomorrow? 1 to 10, 10 being unbelievably confident, 1 being no confidence at all. Where are you? 1 to 10 in how your team will play tomorrow night in Seattle. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Your calls, text messages. We'll get the show really rolling with you next here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages, and they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580, or go to elitepower.com.
If you can't remember the last time you had your home heating system inspected, it's probably time. Right now, Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort is offering a $79 complete heating and air system inspection. We'll check your entire system, clean it up, and make sure it's running perfectly. Call or visit us online today and schedule your $79 winter system inspection at SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Hello, Friday. I've been waiting for you for a long time. You just saved me. With my life.
Hope you're on your way to a great weekend. I am going to talk about the Dodgers and where we're at with Major League Baseball in a little bit, but I want to spend some more time on this 49ers Seahawks game and what I think is going to be a real key based on what we've seen throughout the entire season, and that has to do with the pass rush. And this is an area where the Seahawks have a big-time advantage. They are one of the top teams in quarterback pressures, and they do it without blitzing. They don't blitz a lot. And they're one of the top teams in the NFL in this metric without blitzing. So what is the pass rush going to look like tomorrow night, and how effective will it be in forcing Purdy to make a mistake, and how will that change Kyle Shanahan's approach, who's one of the very best in the business, if not the best, as an offensive guru? What do we talk about with San Francisco? What's been their weakness this year? No Nick Bosa. Right? They've lacked a pass rush. They're last in the NFL in sacks, right? They don't force a lot of pressure. So what will the trend be tomorrow? Will that continue? Will the Niners figure out a way to get more pressure on the quarterback? They did a better job in that area in the loss they had in the final week of the season at home just a few weeks ago. They did a better job of pressuring Sam Darnold. But what did Seattle do in that game? They dominated the game on the ground. They dominated the game. They dominated time of possession. They dominated the clock because they were able to run the football. Are they going to be able to do the same thing? Or will the coaches are going to, we always talk about divisional games. There really are no secrets. Teams know each other very well. You go and you play each other twice a year, and there's the familiarity. This year, maybe not as much early because Darnold wasn't on the Seahawks last year, and there were changes at the wide receiver position. But now you've played them twice. You just played them a few weeks ago. So what's the chess match going to be looking like in the game tomorrow? Because it's going to happen. And the creativity, that is going to be on display tomorrow. All right, so I do want to touch on Major League Baseball. And as a fan of the New York Yankees and growing up, I know what it's like to be that team. And I also know what it's like to not be that team, because I've lived in Northern California for decades and have followed the plights of the Oakland A's. So I get it, okay? Here's where I think we are at. Fans of Major League Baseball feel that the sport, in terms of competition, is unfair. And that's the one thing you can't say about the NFL because of the salary cap. You can't say that about the NBA, as evidenced by the fact of just last year, Oklahoma City and the Indiana Pacers were in the NBA Finals, both small market teams, and the collective bargaining with the aprons, the salary cap, things of that nature. Well, with the Dodgers, once again, adding to their all-star team with Kyle Tucker in a 4-year, $240 million deal, there are fans now that are baseball fans that are like, this is now just, it's not competitive anymore. And that the Dodgers have such a superior roster to anybody else, particularly in the National League, that, like, what's the point? Seriously. Like, what's the point? Now, does the best team always win? No. Okay. But, I mean, if you are a fan of the San Francisco Giants right now, seriously, if you are a fan of the Giants, I mean, how are you going to compete? If you're the Rockies, you're like, oh, my gosh. I mean, the Diamondbacks have real limitations because of the market that they're in. How do you compete? Seriously, how do you compete with the Dodgers? If you're the Giants, what are you supposed to do? I really mean that. What are you supposed to do if you're the San Francisco Giants? I don't know. I don't see how you could. I really don't. I'm looking at this Dodgers payroll, and I'm looking at, like, their lineup. How would anyone beat them? I really mean that. How are you going to beat them? Think about this. If you want to just talk about the payments they made last year in luxury tax, think about this. It was about $170 million last season. How much is that? Just to put it in perspective, it's more than the combined total of the teams that were second and third in that department, both the Mets and the Yankees. I mean, it's crazy. Do I believe on the 209 checking in, do I believe MLB will have a lockout in 2027 because of what the Dodgers are doing? Yes, there is going to be a lockout, and it is going to be nasty. But seriously, how on earth are teams supposed to compete with what the Dodgers are doing? And is it good for baseball? No, it's not good for baseball. It's good if you're a Dodgers fan, but it's not good for baseball. It's not good for the sport. It's just not. It's beyond belief. It really is. So, yeah, if you're a Dodgers fan, I know how you feel. But is it, like, well, I got to be honest, when I was a Yankees fan and they were going out and spending money, it wasn't as much fun for me because they were expected to win. They should win. Isn't it the same situation right now with the Dodgers? Yeah, I'm not looking forward to baseball, although I've really soured on baseball the last few years. I don't like the way the game's played. 916-779-0929. Hey, Grant, I'm a Niners fan. I'm feeling like an 8 because Brock has never lost in Seattle. Pearsall and Williams look like they're going to play. They didn't play last game against Seattle. And with how the defense played against the Eagles and Darnold being hurt, I feel comfortable with the Niners pulling out the win. Well, I don't know if I would say that Darnold's hurt. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I don't know if I would say that. All right, let's get to Big Al. What's up, Al? How are you today?
I'm back from the land of sunshine and the waste management course down there in Phoenix. It was a wonderful time, Grant.
Good for you.
Time. God, it was
Good
so
for
beautiful.
you.
Beautiful down there. To answer the Giants question, as a long time, just ahead of you, the Giants think they're going to do what the Yankees were always used to be great at, and the Giants too. They're going to find guys in their farm system, and they're going to develop it. The sad thing is, Grant, that has not happened in the last two administrations. Doing a super dull farm system for a solid, I'd say 15, 20 years. But yeah, they don't want to spend the money. It's weird. Yeah, they've got good revenue. They just don't want to spend it.
Well, what the Dodgers, though, are spending is just out of the stratosphere. Like, I don't know how, it's not good for the sport. It's no matter how you look at this, it's not good for the sport, in my opinion. It's just not. I mean, you can't have a team spending all the money and getting all of the best players with their payroll just being beyond ridiculous. Thank you for the call. Just can't do it. In my opinion, I know you might disagree. I know there are those out there that think, well, then that's the way the sport is set up. It's not good. It's just not. It's not good at all. So we got the NFL. We can touch on that story if you want. Of course, the Kings tonight and the Wizards, an action-packed weekend. And I haven't even gotten to Monday yet. And the game that's coming up in Miami, or to be accurate, Fort Lauderdale. It's not really Miami. I know, because I know that area now inside and out. It's not Miami, but we'll just call it South Florida. Can we do that? Indiana, Miami, whose campus is basically in Miami, although the official name would be Coral Gables, but it's basically Miami. Indiana's not Miami. Bloomington's not Miami. I do know that. I've been there before. Can the Indiana Hoosiers, right? Can the Indiana Hoosiers win the Natty and keep the ball rolling to the magnitude that they have done in these playoffs? Complete domination. What do you think? Indiana going to roll? Who do you like in this game coming up on Monday? Talked a lot about it on yesterday's show with Chris Landry of LandryFootball.com. Do you know the Hoosiers are favored by 8.5 in this game? It's a large number, 8.5 points. Over under, by the way, 47.5. I think that's an over game for sure. Monday night, the Natty. Finally. Yeah. College football. We're going to have the final game. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. We're going to have our football picks coming up here in the final hour of the show. Rhino, I was 4-2 last week. You were 2-4. We will pick all 4 games to get you ready for the weekend.
Looking forward to it. We should throw the Natty in there as well.
Okay, we'll
Natty.
do that. Okay, we'll do 5 games. We'll pick the national championship game. We can do that. I like that suggestion. That's good. Yes.
Hard,
isn't it? That's a big number, isn't it?
Yeah, there's some big numbers like you laid out this weekend and on Monday. But how can you argue against it? Honestly, Indiana's just rolled.
I know. Yeah, I'm with you on that. So I think Indiana's going to win the game. Do I think they're going to win by more than 8.5? I'll let you know in the final segment of the show today. But it has been just a Cinderella season from start to finish. I mean, when you think about what they did to Alabama, right, at the Rose Bowl, I mean, you don't see that happen to Alabama. Now, I know it's not Nick Saban. It was Kalen DeBoer, but it's still Alabama. I mean, they embarrassed them. They absolutely embarrassed them, and then they didn't slow down in their next game. They wow. It's just a wow. They've had a wow season. The Big Ten championship, beating Ohio State in the close fashion that they did. It's been unbelievable. Incredible.
It doesn't seem like the moment's too big for them. Everybody said
No.
the Big Ten championship game might be too big of a moment against Ohio State, and it's just gone on from there. The Rose Bowl, not too big, so I don't see why the Natty's going to be too big either.
Speaking of college football, did you see that Trinidad Chambliss, the Ole Miss quarterback, is suing the NCAA? Okay? He wants to play one more season for Ole Miss, which would be his 6th year of eligibility. So he didn't win that appeal, or I shouldn't say appeal. He wasn't granted the waiver for a 6th year of eligibility. I think that was last week. They said that Chambliss didn't provide adequate medical evidence by a treating physician that showed he was suffering from an incapacitating injury or illness, which you have to do to get the waiver. So I guess his issue has been persistent respiratory issues beginning as a sophomore at Ferris State. By the way, I've been to Ferris State many times. Are you aware of that?
I am not. Where is Ferris
Yes.
State?
It is in Michigan, and it is a place that I went to 2 or 3 times at Bowling Green to announce college hockey.
Oh, okay. Good hockey team there?
Yeah, they were pretty good. Yeah, they were pretty good. Yeah. So anyway, we'll see. It's amazing that, college players now are playing at age 24, 25. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Wait, the NCAA is enforcing things? I
How
thought
about
that
that,
stopped
right?
a couple of years ago.
Yeah, how about that? Incredible. All right, 916-779-0929. Let's get to Bill in Citrus Heights. Hello, Bill.
Hello, Grant.
Bill.
Isn't it kind of cool that this weekend? Yes.
Go ahead.
Isn't it kind of cool that this weekend football means so much across the country, in different regions of the country, from New York to Florida to California to Seattle, and even in the Midwest with Indiana. I just think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and the Chicago Bears.
Well,
So,
and the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, it's the football playoffs, all regions of the country, and it's a good point. Absolutely.
Yeah, if I can, I think the Rams win because I think short passing game will make a difference this weekend.
Okay. So you like the Rams to win? Okay.
In that game.
Okay.
I like Buffalo to beat Denver because I think that Josh Allen is comfortable playing in the Rocky Mountain region. Him being having been a Wyoming quarterback.
Okay. So you like them to win too? All right.
And I like Houston. I like Houston. 49ers, Seahawks, I stay away from because I like the 49ers too much.
Sounds good. Have a great weekend, Bill. Enjoy. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Hey, you know why Josh Allen got so good in football in college, right?
Why did he get so good in football at college?
Because it's Laramie, Wyoming. There is literally nothing
to do.
Nothing to do.
Have you ever driven through Wyoming on I-80?
I have not.
No. Oh, my gosh. What an experience that is.
So we would, because it's always a 2-game road trip. It would be Colorado State and Wyoming together. And we would bus to Wyoming, but still stay in Colorado. It was that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I think the speed limit is actually 80 miles per hour when you drive through 80 on Wyoming.
It was that way in Utah. I can confirm that.
Yeah, love it. Hey, folks, if you've been waiting to buy a home, then you got to be prepared to act soon because of what's about to happen in the real estate market. The expected Fed rate cuts will renew the housing market demand, and buyers like you will flood the market. And you know what that means? Bidding wars will happen. Homes will sell quickly. And now is the time to get your ducks in a row. And the best way to start is with an experienced broker to represent you. And that's why I talk about Village Financial, Spencer Grimmenstein being that broker. His white glove service, it's a boutique experience. It's a one-stop shop method, which makes it so easy for you. Spencer will navigate you through the process from start to finish. He's got many, many, many home listings to choose from throughout Northern California and 30 years of mortgage brokering experience. He's going to get you the best rates. And keep in mind, Spence also has access to private money to help you expedite to get your offer accepted and closed. Don't forget, folks, it makes sense to call Spence or text him at 916-805-4868. Call now to schedule a free home buying consultation. Free. 916-805-4868. That's Spence at Village Financial Group. It makes sense to call Spence, Village Financial Group, or online at vfgloans.com. More football talk. More talk on the NBA. We've got a lot going on. Get you ready for the weekend right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's. G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gabrud's.com.
We've got great news for vehicle owners, regardless of what you drive, here at Downtown Ford Sacramento. For a limited time, bring your car or truck to Downtown Ford. We'll beat any major tire store's prices on a set of world-class Michelin or BF Goodrich tires. Then, we'll kick you down an $80 mail-in rebate. And that goes for any car or truck you drive. You'll get the best deal anywhere on Michelin or BF Goodrich tires installed by our top-notch service team, plus an $80 rebate. That's how we operate here at Downtown Ford. We've been selling Fords for over 100 years, and we've learned some things. Rule number 1 is to put the customer first. Treat customers right, and they come back. That's our formula, and it's why we were chosen as a Car Guru's top dealership for 2025. We are Downtown Ford Sacramento. Come see us on Howe Avenue. Online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580, or go to elitepower.com.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Kings tonight taking on the Washington Wizards. Rano, you were at practice yesterday, and Sabonis was a full participant. We expect him to be back in action. The rotation tonight is going to be interesting as Dennis Schroeder comes back from his 3-game suspension as well.
Well, if Keon does not end up playing, then it makes things a little bit easier for Doug Christie. It opens up some of those minutes. But Keon only played, it was under 5 minutes, Grant.
Yeah, it was 5 minutes. Yeah, he only played 5 minutes in the last game without Schroeder. So I don't know. I think now as we get to the halfway point, which we're at right now, tonight is the 42nd game, I really want to start seeing Nick Clifford make the steps forward. I think that is probably of all of the things that I'm looking at for the second half of the season, I might prioritize him as number one because I already have seen what Max can do and the others. Now I want to see Nick Clifford make that jump.
I think that has to start with a run in Stockton. I don't see it starting right now.
Okay.
Here on this team, there's just not the minutes, Grant. You don't have the runway to give to him. And even if you are giving him runway, he's not going to be a featured part of the offense. He's going to be the guy that gets the third pass to make a three or maybe gets a shot in transition. I need to get his confidence built back up a little bit, get the ball in his hands so he gets another flow or gets a better flow for the game like he had going in the summertime.
Here's the other question I have. Have the Kings fans forgotten about their lottery pick from last year? Have we just completely dismissed Devin Carter from being part of this roster?
I don't think so. I've seen a lot of fans. I've had fans come up to me and saying we really hope that some trades happen so Devin can get some run. I think it's not they've dismissed it. They just know that those minutes aren't coming until a move is made. And it's been very evident with that. We only see Devin, Grant, if the game's out of control.
Or in the G League with Stockton.
And he excels every time he goes, as he should.
And he should.
Right.
Right. And that's exactly, well, same with Nick Clifford when he went down there. Bottom line is, if you are an NBA player and you're playing in the G League, you better put up really good numbers. But it's really not the numbers. I mean, it is, because if you don't have the numbers, it looks bad. It's confidence. It's the feel for the game. It just doesn't, it seems like it's stagnant right now for Nick Clifford. It doesn't look like it's all there. It looks, you used the word, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, hesitation.
Hesitant. Yeah, he's
hesitant.
gun shy offensively. Right. He's very, very gun shy.
Yeah.
It's all.
And what did we see in Summer League? And again, I know it's Summer League, but we saw just the opposite of that.
Yeah, because everything was really flowing through him for the most part. And we saw, I thought he really identified some different spots on the floor. And granted, you're not playing against an entire team of NBA players. Half the people that are in Summer League are either in the G League or out of the league altogether. But spots don't change. Players change. So I'd like to see him get back to some of those opportunities. And at this point, Grant, if this continues through the season, I'm sending him back to Vegas next year as well.
I'm just hoping that as we talk about the second half of the season, which begins tonight, we're now not talking about a Kings team that's going to surge up the standings and once again, after 82 games, be an absolute no man's land, where you're depending on the absolute luck of the ping pong ball to get you a top 4 pick as opposed to being around 10 or so. And with what you've had to endure in the first half of the season, which has been a nightmare, it would just be in pure typical fashion for the Kings to win enough games here in the second half of the season to be in that area that you don't want to be in, not good enough to make the playoffs, and not bad enough to get one of the top picks in the draft, because everyone's been talking about this upcoming draft and how enticing it looks, how appetizing it looks, and how you might have a couple of franchise caliber turning players that are going to be at the top. And that's where we're at, Ryan. I'm sorry, but that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, I'm going to give you, in my opinion, the one name that all hinges on. It's Russell Westbrook. And no disrespect to what Russ has done. He's been entertaining this season, but Grant, that is a large chunk of minutes. That think about the different ways that Doug Christie has played Russ this year. He's played him some at the forward. He's playing him at point guard to start the game. That's a chunk of 36, 38 minutes that can be distributed amongst numerous guys. So if Russ is still on the team and still playing those minutes, this team probably does not surge up the standings because those other guys aren't going to get ticked. They're not going to get shots. The ball's not going to move as much. And I don't want to put this all on Russ because it's not all a Russ thing. It's just the chunk of minutes that sit there with Russell Westbrook.
And again, I go back to what I said the day they signed Westbrook. It didn't make sense then. It hasn't made sense at any point during the season. It still doesn't make sense when you look at the totality of what Scott Perry is trying to do. Now, I know Scott would tell me I'm crazy and that I'm wrong, Well, I'm sorry. I don't think I'm wrong. I think I'm spot on here. Scott is so sold on his 6 principles and that Russ, checks all of those boxes. Well, I don't care about the 6 principles. I care about the future. Okay. I don't care about that. That doesn't mean anything to me. Russell Westbrook is a consummate professional. I've enjoyed watching him compete, but he's 37. He's not part of the future. And all you're doing is you're stunting the growth of players that need to be on the floor. And it just doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense to me. It didn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense. And at no point during this season do I think I'm going to change my mind and say, okay, I've been wrong the whole year. Now I understand it makes sense. I don't think I'm going to get there.
You have to wonder if they thought at that time when they signed Russ that somebody was going to be moving off the roster at that position.
Well, if they thought that, then they made a mistake because it hasn't happened. All right, they miscalculated. If they thought that, if Scott Perry thought that, then he miscalculated the situation. Okay?
Yeah.
And on top of that, you had already gone out and spent a significant amount of money to get a older point guard who ended up being sent as a reserve instead of a starter because he was playing so poorly as a starter that Westbrook took his job, and that, of course, is Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, I've said this over the last week. One of the things that was told to me from a source very familiar that has been around that front office is Scott Perry was looking to cut money, or, how do I say this? He was looking to cut the costs in all the wrong places. He looked at Malik Monk's number and not the player. And now you're in that situation where Monk is excelling. He's always excelled, but you brought in Schroeder at that higher number thinking, okay, we can get that same production. And now you're caught in this limbo with those two players. And Grant, what happens if Dennis returns to the lineup tonight, plays 36 minutes, Monk doesn't play 10 minutes, and this team looks terrible again? They're going to be set up to be booed off the floor.
Yeah, good point. 916-779-0929 if you want to comment on that. 916-779-0929. The reality is at the halfway point, Scott Perry's done some good things. Max Reynaud, good draft pick, right? I think having Dylan Cardwell, excellent move, right? Picking up Precious Achiuwa, really good move, right? Right now, Nick Clifford, the jury's out. It's only 1 year. The addition of Russell Westbrook, to me, has not been favorable for the things that we just discussed. Dennis Schroeder, to me, bad signing, even though I thought you could say, well, he's playing pretty good as a reserve. That wasn't why you got him, and you're paying him a lot of money, and it just, I'm sorry, it doesn't look very good right now. So there's good and there's some bad. The bad is that you've played 41 games this year, and you've lost 30 of the 41. And yes, you've had injuries. Yes, you certainly have not had the lineup that you envisioned in training camp one time this season on the floor. So that is part of it. But the lack of competitiveness in too many games this year has stood out. So now they've won 3 in a row. Let's see how long it continues. But with Sabonis coming back, I think it only makes the team better. It's not going to make them worse.
No doubt.
Right?
I think you just laid out the perfect part of the bad, and here's the good. You get to now play with Domantas Sabonis and Max Reynaud.
Yep.
You get to see how those two can work together. Jerry laid it out perfectly yesterday here on the show.
So then we ask, when Keegan comes back, which is going to be sooner rather than later, in all likelihood, then what does that do to the minutes of the other bigs that I just mentioned, Cardwell, Eubanks? Eubanks I'm not really worried about. Let's just talk about Cardwell and Achiuwa. Now, Achiuwa can play, maybe Jerry said it, some 3 in addition to some, but Cardwell really, who's played well, I wonder what his minutes are going to look like when you have Keegan, when you have Sabonis, and of course Reynaud playing as your 3 top guys at those positions.
Logic is much energy, and we've enjoyed having Cardwell on the court. Logic tells you he's going to take a reduced role now if the team gets into foul trouble. Okay, remember, he can only play 50 games because he's a two-way player.
Yes. Yep.
So it's going to be back to development for him. And as great as he is right now, he still needs development, especially with the offensive fine-tuning around the rim.
That's a great point. So we got a lot to talk about. The NFL playoffs, of course, taking center stage. It's really a big football weekend. Here we are in the middle of January, and we are talking the NFL playoffs. Niners, Seahawks. Tomorrow night, we're almost at the 24-hour mark. Not quite. We're getting there. We're getting there. What do you think? We're going to be talking about a Niners game next weekend, or are we going to be talking about, gee, it was a really good year based on all of the injuries? We'll know soon. 1 hour in the books. 2 to go here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
The new year is here, a fresh opportunity to tell people about your products and services so they know who to spend their money with. Fox Sports Radio has a Mount Rushmore of sports talk talent. Patrick, Cowherd, Gottlieb, and Sacramento's own Grant Napear, and they have an audience you can take to the bank. This is Fox Sports General Manager Kurt Bagelman. Sports Talk listeners are a unique, target-rich group of consumers. They're employed, they earn six-figure incomes, 2/3 own their own homes, and they listen to the radio longer. Let me repeat that. They listen longer, so your commercial message has more opportunity to be heard. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great schedule could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Need the best in tires? Now through New Year's, save big at Express Tires on Watt Avenue. Sacramento Express Tires with a 60-minute install guarantee. Express Tires has one of the largest on-site inventories in the region, so the tires you want or need are waiting for you. Get over to Express Tires for on-site specials. Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue, Sacramento. Express Tires. Take care of your car or truck and protect your wallet.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabroods. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Call Gabroods or visit Gabroods.com. Gubroods.
It's the All Things Legal Show, heard every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. Join your host, Craig Ashton, with an entertaining and eclectic view of all things legal. Saturday mornings from 8 to 9. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Tell your friends. Grant's back. Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst. K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Nine 7790929. Give me a call, text message. We can talk about a lot of topics like Dave in Elk Grove. Dave, welcome to the program. Good to have you on this Friday afternoon.
Grant, how you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
Looking forward to hearing your NFL picks later on in the show for this weekend. You know who I'll be rooting for, but I wanted to extend a special invitation to you and Rhino to come join the Bills Backer Club in West Sacramento on Saturday. We had 100 plus people took over the Kickin' Mule in West Sacramento. And we're probably going to have 200 people there tomorrow. And if you want to take me up on the offer, I'll even bring a table for you or Rhino to smash. Grant, you and I are about the same age, and I don't smash tables anymore, but maybe Rhino would like to smash a table on camera.
I appreciate that. I don't enjoy watching NFL football with other people because I don't like being in noisy environments unless I'm at the game. So I appreciate that, but I'm going to decline. I like to be in a quiet environment so I can hear the announcers. And sometimes I can't hear what's going on when I'm at a sports bar or at a venue. I don't really enjoy going to venues like that. It's nothing personal. It's just not my cup of tea. But thank you for the invitation.
All right, Grant. Well, I know you're pulling for the Bills, so I appreciate that. And
I am pulling for the Bills.
Next week.
I am pulling for the Bills. You are right about that.
We appreciate that. I'm looking forward to hearing your picks later on the show.
Thank you, Dave. You take care, and
right,
good
Grant.
luck to you.
Take care.
Yep. All right. Bye-bye. And I really mean that. I don't like it. If I'm a fan of a team, then I can do it. If I'm not a fan of one of the teams that's playing, I hate going to a sports bar, restaurant, whatever. If I'm, I shouldn't say hate. It's not my thing. Not my thing. So we always talk about perspective in sports, right? Expectations, and then media and fans. We live in this market, a very docile, a very calm, not confrontational, for the most part, group of media. They're very vanilla, right? They're very vanilla. That's not the case in other cities. And I want to give you an example of what it's like for Mike Brown, who is in the midst of a $40 million contract, and the Knicks currently second in the Eastern Conference. I want to read this from the New York Post, a couple of excerpts from a story from today. 41 down, 41 to go. The Knicks crashed into the midpoint of their season like Otis the town drunk stumbling into a wall. Those back-to-back California stink bombs in Sacramento and San Francisco signaled an alarm that whatever issues that seemed on the way to resolution when Josh Hart returned in Portland might not be exactly sorting themselves out easily. That one paragraph alone, you would never, ever see anything that negative, that critical in Sacramento. It's just foreign to them. So then they go into Jalen Brunson. Said it wasn't the losing necessarily. Jalen Brunson missed 91 of those 96 minutes, and the Knicks aren't nearly the same team in his absence. Said the Kings debacle was a team-wide mail-in against a team that has been playing well recently, but still only has 11 wins. And the Warriors game was, in its own way, just as stunning, an early 17-point lead that became a footnote thanks to the 99-65 Warriors splurge that followed. Now, I'm going to go down, and I'm going to read one more paragraph before I get to the crux of why I'm reading this. The story reads, they looked listless. They looked disinterested. Karl Anthony Towns, he looks like he needs to adopt a dog so he'll have at least one friend more loyal than the ones that passively watch Draymond Green do a sweep-the-leg maneuver straight out of the Cobra Kai playbook. How beautiful is this? Mike Vaccaro, by the way, is the columnist for the New York Post. Mike, can we please get you in Sacramento? Can I read things like this, please, in Sacramento? How beautiful is this? Okay. Then Mike goes on and talks about Mike Brown. He said, Brown has received many benefits of many doubts across these first 41 games because that only seemed fair. New coach, new system automatically means some early growing pains and some early give it some time patience. But he talks about the fans, and then he goes to an area that I really, really like because it's something that I've talked about, okay? He talks about injuries. And I think it is interesting to read a different perspective from somebody that works in a different market, all right? And this is interesting. It's actually not against the law to continue to play at a certain standard when guys are out. Last year, Thibodeau lost OG Anunoby for a 6-game stretch in February. The Knicks went 5-1 as his absence. Not long after he returned, Brunson injured his troublesome right ankle for the first time in Los Angeles against the Lakers and missed 15 games, in which the Knicks went 9-6. Compare that to this season, when the Knicks all but went to pieces when Josh Hart was forced to miss a couple of weeks. The Knicks had to visit Sacramento and San Francisco not long after Brunson went down last year, too, and without him, beat the Kings by 29 and lost to the Warriors by 3. Good teams not only find a way to survive injuries, the really good ones find an extra part of themselves. The Knicks did it last year. The Nuggets are 6-3 since Nikola Jokic got hurt and are 14-8 without Aaron Gordon. It's on Brown to figure this out. He isn't without proven coaching chops, and the Jackals were quiet when the Knicks were 23-9 about 15 minutes ago. The truest truth on the day he was hired remains even thus. He will ultimately be judged by a simple question: whether the Knicks advance to the finals this year or not. But if that's the final exam, this is the midterm. Because the Knicks have to get back to being themselves. They have to be better at the grind than they've been since New Year's Day. Again, say what you will about Tibbs, but he was all about the grind, and New York loves grinders, and the Knicks became such a feel-good story as much because of the ferocity as their talent. They're mostly the same players. It's still there somewhere. It's time for Mike Brown to make like Indiana Jones and begin to dig, begin to excavate, begin to tap into that old Knicks stubbornness. The honeymoon isn't over yet, but he has checked out of the hotel. It's time. What a great column by Mike Vaccaro of the New York Post. And how about the way he just comes right out and is very blunt about it, talking about Karl Anthony Towns looks like he needs to adopt a dog, so at least he'll have one friend more loyal than the ones that passively watch Draymond Green do a sweep-the-leg maneuver straight out of the Cobra Kai playbook. What a thing of beauty. Man, that's just great. I don't know about you, Rhino. I love that stuff. That stuff is fabulous. It's great.
Yeah, it works in New York, and I doubt Mike Vaccaro is at press conferences facing these people that he's writing about. You know what I mean? That's more, and I'm good with it, but it's a little
Mike's
nuanced.
at press conferences. Mike's on the scene.
Is
He's
he
not
on the
just
scene?
a columnist.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Fair
no. Yeah.
No, a lot
I can
of
guarantee you
true.
Mike Brown recognizes Mike Vaccaro and knows who he is. And yeah, that's no issue at all.
Okay. A lot of it's true, though, especially what he said at the end about falling in love with their toughness and just how they played the grind. That's what really pulled me in, because that's what I love about basketball.
If you want to get in on the conversation, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. NBA schedule tonight. We've obviously talked about the game that is going on tonight at 7 o'clock right here at Golden One Center, Sacramento, and Washington. But we get to some other action and what the schedule looks like on this Friday night. Pelicans are in Indiana. That's an interesting game in the sense of 10-33 against 9-32. Cavs are in Philly. Bulls, Nets. Toronto hosts the Clips. And the Timberwolves and the Rockets. That's a really good game. Minnesota 27 up, 14 down. Houston struggling at 23-15. The Wizards and the Kings we've talked about. By the way, Rhino, if you're keeping score, the Kings are a 6.5-point favorite tonight.
For what? Maybe the third or fourth time this season?
It's not been many. It's not been many. The number 6.5 currently. Wow. Yeah. Not much. All right. Again, 916-779-0929. You can leave me a message on the text line, or if you are following us over on our YouTube page, Fox Sports Sacramento, glad to have you with us. Happy to read some of your questions as well periodically throughout the show. I am appreciative of the comments that we get. From BJ, Sal, why would the NBA let Sacramento have one of the top 4 picks? Yeah. Yep. Said Perry is a used car salesman. He used to work on Fulton Avenue. This is his last job, and he operates as such. Is that Mike Vaccaro, or is that a listener? Appreciate it. All right. Let's get to some phone calls. Caesar, what's going on? Welcome to the show on a Friday. Hello there, sir. How are you? Caesar.
Good. Yeah, good.
Go ahead.
Hey, Grant. So I just wanted to bring up that, you know, in the past you've mentioned how Doug Christie is not a good coach. And I just want to see how he's going to, what do you think how he's going to do tonight with Sabonis coming back, Schroeder coming back? Is he going to take minutes away from Monk?
I don't see how he doesn't with Dennis Schroeder coming back. I mean, if he obviously is going to play Schroeder. He's been pretty much on board with that. He was asked the question yesterday and basically was saying, yeah, of course he's going to play. And I'm paraphrasing. You know, he loves his 94 feet. He loves, you know, another on-the-ball defender. He kept talking about that. And so, yeah, I expect Dennis Schroeder to play a lot tonight.
The biggest thing is I'm a season ticket holder. And, you know, I be going to games all the time. And there's when you don't play. But Monk brings such a energy to the arena that you don't get from any other players. And for him not to see any playtime when everybody comes back is just, you know, terrible.
I don't understand it. I think I called it malpractice for an organization, both
right.
with the coach and the general manager. You're a person that spends their money on the team. I don't, and you feel the same way as I do. Is that correct?
Yeah, every time I listen to you, I like just you read my mind.
Hey, have you gotten your renewal yet? I'm just curious. Did you get your renewal for next year?
Not yet.
Okay, are you going to renew?
I might actually do half the season instead of the full season.
Okay. Is that because,
like I said,
and again, I don't mean to be too personal, is that a financial consideration or you're just fed up with the product that you're seeing?
I'm fed up with what I'm seeing, you know. But when I first got my season tickets, it's right when we went on that playoff run when we were the 3rd seed.
Yep.
And that's disappeared.
Yeah.
You know, like coach, just after coaches and first of all, I heard you a couple of weeks ago how Doug Christie is not a good coach, and you know what? You're right. He's not a good coach because he doesn't know how to put the right players out there and just read the room.
I think it's definitely a weakness of his. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I mean, I think that's pretty apparent.
I just want to say, Grant, I've turned since I've been listening to you, man. I became a fan of you, and I listen to you almost every day now. So thank you for everything you put out there, and you opened my eyes to so many things. So, man, you're really good, man. And Rhino too. I like Rhino.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Are you going to the game tonight?
Yeah, I'll be there tonight.
Okay, enjoy and have a good weekend. And I appreciate your support. Thank you very much for calling the show.
Thank you, and I'll definitely be calling more often.
I appreciate that. Please do. Take care now. Bye-bye. right. Rhino, I forgot to ask you, when would Rahil be calling the show next week from Washington, D.C.? You said that she called to have a quick conversation with you yesterday. Is that accurate?
Yeah, let me paraphrase. Tell him I'm coming for him next week.
Okay.
So,
well, she better do a better job than she did this week after I told her Houston would definitely go into Pittsburgh and end Aaron Rodgers' tenure with the Steelers. So she's going to have to do better than she did when she called the show. She still didn't take her medicine, but she was nice enough to call the show, and I greatly appreciate that.
Poking the bear right now. Right?
I'm not poking the bear. I'm just calling it the way it is.
The bear's about to get off work, and you're poking it. Right around now, hour 2, about halfway through segment 2.
You think I'm poking the bear, huh?
I think you're poking the bear a little bit.
All right.
Those are fun conversations.
Well, Rahil says she works in political media, so she knows all about poking the bear.
Yes, she does.
Right? I mean, if that's her occupation, she could teach me a lesson on that.
Yes. I don't know how she stays sane.
No. Are you kidding me? In Washington, D.C., having that as your career? I mean, really?
You're and you're surrounded by it. It's not just local. It's,
yeah, you have to have a real special, I don't want to say outlook. Your mind better be right to do that job. Wow, man.
Or you better be a good BSer.
Well, I better stop right now. I don't want her to really get mad at me, and because I don't know her and I don't know what she does for a living, and I don't want to make a blanket statement about all of those in the media world of politics, but that would seem to me to be the majority and not the minority.
You got to know how to play the game. They don't sell.
Oh boy,
they don't sell too many of those BS meters out there in that part of the country, my friend.
No, they don't. All right, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Don't forget, Grant's Grant today is going to be different. It's going to be in the same fashion of some of my other well-listened to non-sports rants. It's something I don't understand. Like, I just, it drives me crazy because I'm like, why? Like, what is this all about? That's going to be the focal point of my rant coming up at 5 o'clock right here.
You know what? You know what? Let's do this. Text the show. If you want to make a guess about what Grant's rant's going to be about.
There's no chance that anyone's going to guess it. There's no chance.
If they do, they get a $100 gift card to Bennett's.
Okay.
So flood us with those.
All right. So if they text the show, is that what you're saying?
You can text, you can call if you'd like. If you would like to wager a guess about what the rant is, we're not going to, Grant will not tell you whether you're right or wrong right now. But if you're right, we will give you a $100 gift card to Bennett's.
I would say that the chances of someone guessing accurately when I'm going to rant on at 5 o'clock would be below 1%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you set the odds for the Kings game tonight too?
I'm not putting any odds on the Kings game tonight. I'm not doing that. I am not doing that. What I will do, though, is tell you that we'll come back and I'll read some of the messages. You can get on the phone lines at 916-779-0929 on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages, and they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580, or go to elitepower.com.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Homeowners, if you have an electrical project you need done, then you need the good dudes at Gabrudes. Family owned and operated for 30 years, Jay Gabrude and his team are the area's recognized experts for everything electrical, from the very basic like repairs, lighting upgrades, and whole house fans, to the biggies, panel replacements, EV stations, and backup generators. Gabrudes does it all and does it right the first time. They're actually the guys their competition recommends. Gabrudes, expert 5-star service and always transparent, honest prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Visit Gabrudes.com or call 24/7 and speak with a real live person. Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gabrudes.com.
Boy, a lot of messages from the 209. Is it a sports-related rant? I've already made it clear it has nothing to do with sports. 530, let's have a hint on the rant, please. No hint. Grant is ranting on Steve Kerr and his awful political takes. I'm not ranting on Steve Kerr. If I did rant, it would go on for a long time, and I actually stayed away from ranting on it because it is such a polarizing topic in this country right now. But I, for one, Grant Napear, don't want to hear what Steve Kerr has to say about a political might not even be the right word. I don't want to hear about an incident that occurred in Minneapolis that has absolutely nothing to do with the NBA or sports from Steve Kerr or Doc Rivers or any other coach in the NBA. All right? Like, I'm not tuning into the press conference to hear Steve Kerr rant and have his own, not only opinion, conviction of a law enforcement officer before an investigation is complete, and so on and so forth. I'm not a fan of that, so much so that it pushes me away from the table. Steve Kerr pushes me away from the table. That's just how I am. So I didn't rant on it. I think Grant is going to rant about the guy who yells, "Get in the hole" for a tee shot on a par 5. No, I'm not. I am not. Okay? I'm not going to rant on that. Should rant about the joke that the NCAA has become with the transfer portal. Heck, what does Sac State's class look like now? How would I rant on that? I've already ranted on it. Is horrible for the sport. Okay? Seriously. Yeah, I could rant on that. I don't even know what I'm going to say that hasn't already been said. When I do rants, like the rant that I'm going to do at 5 o'clock, nobody is doing a rant like this. Okay? Nobody. And so everybody's ranting on the NCAA and the portal and so on and so forth. There's really nothing I can rant on that I haven't already ranted on in the past. Okay? I really can't. So I'm going to stay away from that because I've talked about the portal and the NCAA, and I've got Chris Landry on, who lives in Baton Rouge and is right in the middle of SEC country, and his website and college football, and we've talked about that and the system. It's not good. It's not good. 916-779-0929. By the way, I should just ask the question because it was a good one. Are you bothered? Okay. Are you bothered by coaches like Steve Kerr, like Doc Rivers, like Greg Popovich, who go off on sensitive political issues, politicians, incidents? Does that bother you when you are watching a press conference about a game that you're interested in and a coach goes on his own political agenda to express his view? It bothers me. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I can tell you it did not bother the 100 people surveyed by The Athletic about the top 40 leaders in sports, because Steve Kerr is number one on the list.
And what was the criteria? Do you know?
I will get that for you. I sent you the list. Go check that out.
So, okay. So what was it based on? Again, so Steve Kerr was number one. I have it right here. The top 40 leaders in sports, right? Steve Kerr was number one. Dawn Staley was number two. Curry was three. Gino, the head coach of Connecticut, Oriyama, was four. Andy Reid, five. I mean, I'd have to get more to this. Like, what are we talking about?
Our goal, this is directly from The Athletic. Our goal with this list was simple. We asked a bunch of people in North American sports to rank the 5 leaders they most admired in 2025. We picked the phrase most admired because it is intentionally vague. Yes, you don't have to know someone to admire them. You can also admire leaders for different reasons: the way they communicate, the way that they handle adversity or the spotlight, and of course, success.
Okay. So without opening up a huge can of worms, I understand Steve Kerr's continual strive for gun control because of how his father was murdered. All right. So I get that. That is deeply personal to him. The individual with a gun murdering his father overseas. I understand that. I understand what that would be like. Or when I say I understand it, I understand his view on that. Okay. As this one on the 916 just texted me, can't stand any political views, left or right. When I'm looking for sports, I want sports takes. I have never gone down that road when it comes to my political views. I just don't. Okay? I don't. If you want to talk about my text of 6 years ago, All Lives Matter, every single one, where was I fired because it was politically incorrect, but my view on that statement has to do with my entire life and encompasses what I believe in as a person, which is all lives do matter. And if you don't think that all lives matter, you're really not somebody that I want in my circle of friends. And that's what I was preached by my parents, and particularly my father. And we didn't just talk about it, we lived it. And we always, in our family, try to help out the underprivileged, less fortunate. I've got story after story after story after story of not talking about it, but doing it. We weren't talkers, even though I grew up as somebody that wanted to talk for a living. but my dad wasn't about talking. My dad was about actions. And then my brother and myself have always been that way and will be that way until we take our last breath. So, like, as far as political views, I'm very open about this. I don't care who you vote for. I told you on day one of this show, unless it had something specifically to do with sports, we wouldn't talk about it. Nothing has changed. I haven't deviated from that. I haven't gone down that road, nor will I, because if I'm you and I'm listening to me, I don't give a damn who Grant Napear wants as president or this or that. I don't care. That's not why I'm listening to him. That would be my take if I was listening to this show right now. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me.
So here's some more context. In the end, our panel was intentionally diverse, though almost exclusively from North America, made up of, and this is the interesting part, Hall of Fame coaches from the collegiate and pro ranks and assistant coaches from all levels of college and professional sports, current and former professional players, leadership experts, and executives. And they go on to name some of the people in the panel. I'm not going to do that, but that is your voting group to qualify.
Okay. All right. Thank you for clarifying that. Appreciate that. From the 631, I'll give it to Kerr on gun control otherwise. From the 209, yes, I'm bothered by the comments. And he went on and said more. Again, a lot saying can't stand any political views. I don't listen to sports talk radio for politics, and I will, I've actually stopped watching ESPN and Stephen A. Smith. I can't stand them. Why is Stephen A. Smith all of a sudden, this quote unquote political expert? I don't care. Doesn't matter. I'm not watching Stephen A. for that. I'm not saying that as an American, he doesn't have an opinion, but there's a place and time for everything. Like, you don't want my opinion on who I voted for, do you? It's none of your business. It's not what I'm here for. I'm here to talk sports. I'm here to have, hopefully, stimulating conversation, not how I believe politically and where I'm at. I mean, I've been very open about all lives matter, but before I even put that on Twitter in 2020, I was very open about that. I've always been open about that. I don't mind talking about it because that's the fabric of who I am. I don't have any problem discussing that. But I'm not going to discuss, being on the left or being on the right or being in the middle, or it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I have friends that are Democrat. I have friends that are Republican. I have friends that I disagree with. I have friends that have completely different political views than mine. They're still my friends. I don't disown them. I don't kick them to the curb. I don't think any less of them. I just think they're an individual that has a different opinion than me, and that's part of being a person. We don't have to agree on the same thing. So, again, I'm not talking sports because I don't want to talk about sports. All right? Just the way it goes. So, I don't know what else to say. All right, 916-779-0929. No one's come close to guessing on my rant, by the way. And I don't think that you will when I do my rant in about 30 minutes from right now. All right? It's just something I don't understand. Like, I'm like, what is this? So that is going to be coming up in about 30 minutes. Rant on Vivek. That's always fun to hear you say what others are scared to say. I only speak the truth. I don't know why others, I don't even know because I don't listen to anyone else, would be afraid to speak the truth. The same way I always love talking about what I read on East Coast tabloids, and I just read from Mike Vaccaro of the New York Post. I don't know why it's so hard to be critical when it is warranted. I don't know. I don't know why it's so difficult. I really don't. So thanks for all the messages. I am reading a lot of them, but I think the majority of people, based on what I'm reading and based on the conversations I've had, don't want politics mixed with sports. And I'm one that hates it. It turns me off. and it's not anything that I'm ever going to start doing. I'll retire before I have to talk about politics on my show. That's never happening. It's just not. I'm not going unless it has direct correlation to what's going on in the sports world, and it's an event that cannot be avoided. Okay? Cannot be avoided. But other than that, I'm not talking about that. I am talking about DAS Mechanical, though, and the fact that a lot of homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric. Bottom line, it's about getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot more every month on energy bills. And so what does that mean? Well, okay, if your current heating and air system, let's say, is 15 years or older, then it may be time to consider a change. Get in touch with DAS Mechanical first, because nearly all of their work is gas to electric whole system changeouts. And Nick Delancey and his team, they're experts at this. All right, this is what they do. And they specialize in it. They also have 0% financing. And keep this in mind, 24/7 availability if you ever have a heating emergency. Award-winning, locally owned, they're family-owned. Yeah, I'm talking about DAS Mechanical, serving their Sacramento and Placer County neighbors for years. All you need to do is go to dasmechanical.org. You can schedule everything online. You can review all of their great 5-star feedback and their numerous best of the best awards. That's D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org, dasmechanical.org. Yeah, Grant's Rant coming up in about 25 minutes right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouth-watering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrude Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrude's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrude's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our #1 priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrude's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrude's, locally owned for more than 30 years. Gubruds.
Call the good dudes at Gabruds. Gubruds. Gabruds.com.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
A little past the halfway mark on a Friday afternoon, a big football weekend. Grant is ranting on how long it's taken to complete Highway 50 and the ridiculous diversions. I've already ranted on that, and I don't know what is going on there. I really don't. I'm just blown away by that. The Great Wall of China, I think, was built faster than the Highway 50. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't. 916, I don't watch sports or listen to sports talk radio to see and hear political views. I do it to get away from that stuff. I just want to break from all the discourse drama in life. I just want to be entertained. Amen. Grant, look at Greg Popovich and his rants almost 10 years ago when a certain president was elected. I don't want to hear political opinions on my sports. The funny thing about Pop was did he know what the political makeup of the Spurs fans and sponsors? That's why Michael Jordan was never political publicly. Most genius guy in the NBA. He was very smart about that. Do you know that I spent a week with Greg Popovich in Serbia in September of 2007? And I got to know him very well and spent many meals with him, sitting right next to him. And I was on the presidential train in the same cabin, if I can use that term, compartment or area as Pop. And it was an incredible week to get to know him. And not one time did he speak about anything political on that trip. We shared a lot of stories. It was one of the great weeks that I've ever experienced, being over there for Vlade Divac's whole retirement festival week. But it was fabulous to be around Pop, but never talked about that. All right, let's get to Steve in Vacaville. Steve, good to have you on the show. Let's see if I can get Steve on. There he is. Hello, Steve. How are you?
Yeah, hi, Grant. Thanks for taking my call. I know your rant's coming up, but one of the rants that I've got is just this transfer portal. I think it was an example like Iowa State. I mean, the players left in mass. I think there's like only one starter left after the exodus that happened.
It's a joke.
And I was thinking about solutions. For it. And to me, it seems like, well, if the student athlete is acting like, just say, any free agent would be in professional sports, where they're just going to sign a letter of intent, but decide, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go after a year, and maybe they may end up in 2 or 3 schools during their career. It would seem to me a way to get out of that is say, if you're going to play that game, then let the colleges say, hey, look, if you're going to sign a letter of intent, you're also going to sign a contract. And you can sign a contract for 1, 2, 3, or 4 years. But if you sign for 4 years, you better be prepared to stay. And I don't know if that would take some congressional relief to allow the NCAA to do that. But it seems to me the pendulum is so far swung to the point now where it's undermining the sport. I think something needs to be done, and that would be a good step in that direction. I just wanted to see what your reaction to that was, and if you've got an opinion for other solutions.
My reaction is one that is uniform, I think, and very much in the majority, and that the system that we have now is not working, and it needs to be changed, and it needs to be overhauled. And I think that almost everyone involved with college football agrees with that. As far as your idea, I'm fine with that. It makes a lot of sense to me. I'm fine with anything that works to make it a better all-around system. And there's got to be some common sense here. And it just seems to me that we've lost our way in this country as it relates to common sense. Like, a lot of this is common sense, and yet we don't deal with common sense when it comes to our college athletes in this portal and, the mess that's going on when coaches are leaving and players don't want to play in bowl games. I mean, it's just really bad all the way around. I'm with you on that. I like your idea. I'm fine with that.
Great, Grant. Well, thanks. Appreciate the take on that, and I'm looking forward to your rant at 5.
Thank you very much. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
You too.
I saw something on social media that Sean Salisbury, who is a guest every week with me, right? And he had put a comment based on a collegiate football player that was now on his 6th team. 6. How about that? 6. Is that unbelievable or what? College football. And I read that, I'm like, wow. But that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
There are some good things with the transfer portal. A guy you talked about earlier in the show, in Chambliss from Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, yeah.
You know, he was a Division II guy that had maxed out his talent and won a national championship. Who knows if Trinidad Chambliss would have ever had the opportunity to play in the college football playoff if not for the transfer portal.
Yeah, there are some good examples, but most of them are not.
Yeah,
right?
I'm with you. It's out of control. I mean, was the past system that broke? I mean, how did we get here? Was it COVID that just opened everything up when they took away that year that you had
Yes.
to wait if you transferred and they just
Yes.
never closed it, right?
Right. Someone from the 253 rant on a YouTuber being released in the Philippines. I'm not familiar with that story. So that will not be my rant, and you will not be winning a $100 gift card from Bennett's. Yes.
A YouTuber being released in the Philippines?
I don't know anything about that.
Somebody released somebody that films YouTube videos?
I
Do they keep them in cages these days? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that story. I'm really not.
I mean,
Yeah.
we do YouTube and we don't live in cages.
No. Some people think that we should, but we don't.
This is true. Very true. Our diets might be better.
Yeah. How about the Highway 50 construction? Like, is that ever going to end? Seriously, is it ever going to end? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's unbelievable to me.
I think the worst part about it is the lanes are constantly changing.
Oh my gosh.
And what I mean by that is you don't have like clear lane outlines and trying to understand where to merge at like the hub of Sacramento. Are you going Capital City? Or you
I
going
know.
I-5?
It's the worst. It's terrible. The whole thing is awful.
Yeah, it's
awful.
just-
Can you imagine, like, let's just say you have landed in San Francisco and you're from a different country and you're going to rent a car and take a drive up to Tahoe and you're going to go on Highway 50 and you're like trying to navigate your way through that section of the road for a period of miles. It might just force you to somehow find a way off the road, turn around and go back to the country you just came from. It's horrible.
You know what? I'll say it in front of the city. I'll say it on airways. I'm claustrophobic. And when you put me in a lane that's a single lane with two guardrails on each side of it, it's not a fun feeling.
Really? Wow.
You feel like you have no room to negotiate.
Well,
right?
don't drive on Highway 1 then.
I don't
Be
mind
very
that.
careful.
No, I don't mind that.
That's not a problem?
No,
All right.
no. You got the
Okay.
ocean right there.
Okay. All right. 916-779-0929. Grant's Rant coming up in a couple of minutes. Let's get back to the big game tomorrow. And there are obviously 4 big games, but because of the region that we're broadcasting from here in Sacramento and Northern California, we talk about the 49ers and the Seahawks, with the Seahawks favored by as much as a touchdown. That line has moved quite a bit. And the reason is, I think it's pretty obvious. A lot of people are taking the 49ers in this game. But when you look at the Seattle team, do they have any weaknesses? Not really. They really don't. I mean, that's why they are the number 1 seed. When you look at their consistency this year, I mean, it's stellar. When you look at their ability to rush the quarterback, it is outstanding. Their error-free style of football for the most part. They only lost 3 games. Sam Darnold had a really, really good year. He had a tremendous game in the win recently in Santa Clara against San Francisco. And I say that knowing full well that it was really the running game and the defense, but Darnold didn't make the mistakes, was error-free, and made the plays when he had to. So will I change my opinion if we're talking about a 49ers win on Monday's show and how bad Darnold was? Yeah, I would say, gee, I thought he had kind of gotten past that with the come-from-behind win against the Rams at home on Thursday Night Football, and then a couple of weeks later going into Santa Clara and beating San Francisco. But I guess not. I guess it's the same Sam Darnold we saw last year in the playoffs for the Minnesota Vikings. We could be saying that, right? Unless, of course, it is apparent that his throwing motion is compromised due to what he felt in the left side of his oblique yesterday early in the practice.
Would that be the excuse?
Yeah. Well, it will only be an excuse if it's noticeable and that you can tell. Listen, if you have an oblique injury, it's almost impossible to not grimace when you're doing a motion of that magnitude. Like, it'd be almost impossible. So I think cameras are going to be zeroing in on his facial expressions when he throws the football, particularly in warmups and then when the game. So we'll know. We'll know. That's not something that will be used as an excuse. If it is the case, it would be a reality, not an excuse. That's how I look at it. Said, Grant, the highway project is supposed to be done by summer of 2026. So maybe June or September. I thought it was supposed to be done years ago. I really don't. For somehow find a way off the road, I call it Suicide Freeway. Wow. Grant will rant about no salary cap in Major League Baseball because of the Dodgers' recent signings. No, I'm not going to rant about that. Rant about stores in California getting rid of plastic bags. No, I'm not ranting on that. I'm not ranting on that. All right, let's get to Jeff. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Grant. How you doing?
Good, Jeff. What's up?
I want to talk the 49ers Seahawks game.
Go ahead.
I think it's going to be big if the 49ers need to stop them on third down. They just couldn't stop them when they played that last game, and they had them like 3rd and 16 and those big runs and passes. And it's got to come down to stopping Seattle and getting the ball back. That's going to be key to the game.
You're right. It is going to be a real key. Third down is going to be a real key. They're going to have to get off the field. And as you said, the last time they played, the Seattle run game was able to prolong drives and short passes, and that's why they dominated the time of possession.
Right. And now I'm happy that Pearsall's back in there. He's a good receiver, but I don't know.
Well, he's questionable.
Oh, is he? I thought he was activated. I didn't know.
Well, he's activated. Okay. He's activated, but he's the inactives aren't done until tomorrow. They're not done on Friday. They're done on an hour before the game. He right now is questionable. I do believe he'll play, but we don't know that 100%.
Okay. Well, you think one good hit will put Darnold out with his abdomen problem, his oblique problem?
I have no idea. How would I know what I have no idea what his problem is, or if it's a non-issue or minor. I would have no idea. No one has any way of knowing that. The only one that knows how he feels right now is Sam Darnold. Nobody else knows. Even the trainers and everything. Right. They're downplaying it big time as if it's not that big of a deal. But because of the gambling allegations and the gambling scandals, they put everything on the injury report now.
Right. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to a good game, and I think it's going to be closer than 7.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the game. 916-779-0929. I mean, how would anybody know about Sam Darnold? You're going to learn a lot in the warm-ups tomorrow. It's going to be very apparent in the warm-ups. Quarterbacks throw a lot in the warm-ups, right? I mean, you're going to know. You'll know if his warm-ups are limited or not. They'll have a camera zooming in on his face. Is he grimacing at all? I mean, you'll know, all right? It's not going to be like a secret. It's not going to be a secret. Grant, which comes first? Kings winning a championship or 50 being officially done? Wow. That's a heck of a question. Are the Kings ever going to win a championship? Because at some point, 50 will get done. But will the Kings ever win a championship? Doesn't look like it right now, that's for sure. Does not look like it right now. And as far as another one, California and plastic bags, I'm not ranting on that. What am I going to rant on? All right? I'm not ranting on that. I am going to have a rant, though, coming up in a couple of minutes. And I'm hoping that you'll enjoy that. Again, nobody guessed it right. Not that I'm surprised, and we got a lot of responses. Nobody was able to guess the subject of my rant.
Not so fast, my friend. How about Canadians putting milk in bags instead of cartons and containers?
Canadians putting milk in bags instead of cartons or containers.
If you go to Costco in Canada, your milk comes in bags.
Like a plastic bag?
A plastic bag.
Really?
Yes.
Let's hope you don't get a pinhole in that driving home.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really different, right? Especially here in California where bags are banned.
Banned? Are they banned?
Well, it's not like the Ziploc bags, but plastic bags at stores and restaurants, I believe restaurants, are banned now. Yes.
Okay. But if I go to Canada and I walk into Costco and I buy milk, it's in a plastic bag?
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's, like if you buy the 2-pack of the milk at Costco, we get 2.
I've never bought milk at Costco, so I can't, but so I don't know, no.
So you don't like saving money.
I don't like Costco because I can't handle waiting online. I don't have the patience for it.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm sorry. It just does not fit with my personality. I can't do it. Can't do it. Sorry. What I can do is a rant, and that's coming up next on this Friday edition, a big football weekend. The Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Sacramento.
The new year is here, a fresh opportunity to tell people about your products and services so they know who to spend their money with. Fox Sports Radio has a Mount Rushmore of sports talk talent. Patrick, Cowherd, Gottlieb, and Sacramento's own Grant Napear, and they have an audience you can take to the bank. This is Fox Sports General Manager Kurt Bagelman. Sports Talk listeners are a unique, target-rich group of consumers. They're employed, they earn 6-figure incomes, 2/3 own their own homes, and they listen to the radio longer. Let me repeat that. They listen longer, so your commercial message has more opportunity to be heard. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great schedule could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabroods. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Call Gabroods or visit Gabroods.com. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Gambling scandals are, unfortunately, nothing new in today's sports landscape. The reports that surfaced yesterday involving 26 college basketball players allegedly fixing games are a stark reminder of why the gambling debate remains so divisive. On one hand, this case highlights how much the system has changed. 20 years ago, this activity likely goes unnoticed. Now, billion-dollar corporations monitoring betting patterns can flag irregularities almost instantly. But the story also exposes exposes the dark side of legalized betting, especially at the college level. Wagering on college sports is a slippery slope, and most of the activity is not happening at the blue blood programs, ones where they get NIL money. The fact that someone can place a $500,000 bet on a North Carolina A&T game should raise alarms. Gambling oversight may catch corruption, but it also creates opportunities for it. That tension is exactly why this issue is not going away. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Tires matter. They're the only part of your vehicle that touches the road. Tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack. Whether you're looking for expert recommendations or know exactly what you want, Tire Rack makes it really easy. Fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and the best selection of General tires. Go to TireRack.com/Dan to see their General tire test results, tire ratings, and reviews, and be sure to check out all the special offers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
At Heartland Steakco, they take their bacon seriously, from their double smoked hickory to their honey jalapeno, which brings sweet and spicy together for the perfect combination, to their all-new bacon flavors like whiskey peppercorn with its smoky richness, to their applewood double smoked bacon that's smoked over real applewood chips. Ordering is easy at heartlandsteakco.com. And right now, when you spend $199.99 or more, you'll get free shipping plus 2 pounds of bacon with promo code BACON. Taste the heart.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant.
All right, so I don't understand this. It doesn't make sense to me. And maybe one of my loyal listeners will be able to give me some education on this, because it is very perplexing to me when I go on the internet, and particularly a website I use very often to upload my work so that you can listen to it at your leisure. I put in my email, I put in my password, and then there's a box that I've got to click that says, I'm not a robot. What does that mean? I have to click a box that says I'm not a robot. Does that mean that there are robots that are going on the internet? And because there are now robots on the internet and there are Grant Napiers on the internet, we have to distinguish between the two. Let's say that I am a robot and I want to log on because I have some work that I want to upload so that everyone else can check it out. There are no instructions about what to do if I were a robot. It only says I'm not a robot. Where would the instructions be to tell me how to proceed to get on the internet if I was a robot? So would someone help me out here? I'm not a robot, and I've got to click on the box to be able to get on the internet. What is that all about? Seriously, would someone help me out with that? A freaking robot? And really, I know it's 2026, and I know we've got, dolls, and we've got cars that are driverless, and we can get in a vehicle, and, you're like, whoa, where's the driver? There's no driver, right? And we have automation, and we have everything like that. But what is the deal about the freaking internet that I've got to click a box that says I'm not a robot? Okay, I'm not a robot, so I click the box, and I proceed. But again, because we are in a crazy world now of 2026, if you were a robot, how would you get on the internet? There are no instructions. So somebody out there that is a technological guru or somebody that knows the answer to this question, would you please help me understand why when I get on the freaking internet on a lot of websites, I have to then click a box to proceed that says I'm not a robot? I do not get it. I can guarantee you Jerry Reynolds doesn't understand, and I would guarantee you that Jerry hasn't really thought about it to the magnitude that I have. Maybe I'm too old to understand. Now that I'm 66, maybe the time has passed me by. Maybe I need to just stop talking about these things. Maybe I need to get off the freaking internet. Maybe it's too complex for me. AI, don't even get me going on AI. I mean, I can barely turn the light on in my room, and you want me to now all of a sudden become an AI wizard? No, I'm way behind the times. But again, I'm not a robot. I understand that. I understand I'm not a robot, but I got to check the box anyway. But as I say, to wrap up my rant on this Friday, if you are a robot, how on earth would you proceed? Where is the instructions for you are a robot? And why would you not be able to get online if you were a robot? What would you do? There is no instruction. And you know what? When you don't have instructions, it drives me freaking crazy. Because if I were a robot and I wanted to get on this site, I wouldn't know what to do. It doesn't tell me what to do if I'm a robot. Someone help me out here. All right? I'm Grant freaking Napear. I'm not a robot, so I'm checking the box. Why do I have to check the box? Why can't I just get on? Like, seriously, a robot? That's where we're at? And that's my freaking rant for today. Rhino, do you have the answer to that question?
I don't have the answer, but I'm going to kind of take it a step further. Has it ever happened to you when you click the I am not a robot button and it starts spinning that sometimes it lets you through, but other times it'll pop up with like these 9 boxes?
Yeah. Well,
So
I don't even get me going with the boxes.
Okay.
And then the boxes change all the time while I'm in the middle of checking them off.
Yes. So if we're clicking, I am not a robot, but then it gives us the boxes and doesn't let us on, is it trying to tell us we are robots?
That's a very good question. But here's the deal with this is that robots today, they're really smart. Like you go to airports, right? You see the robots they don't ever run into you, or whether you're at the store or the market, they got these robots. They even serve food now. You can go to a restaurant and the robots in a busy restaurant where might even be buffet where you get your drink and other foods. And then you order from the menu certain, like I see a lot of Korean barbecue places like this, and you have the robot come up and like literally the food is there and you have to grab your food from the robot. And the robot is really good. It doesn't run into you. It doesn't bump into you. It knows when to stop. It knows when to go. Would that robot be able to get on the internet? And that's a very good point. If it had those 9 boxes that you had to check off, then what would you do? I don't understand it. Grant, love your rant. Love you, man. You are one of the best. Hear this one. Grant, that bothers me also. Robot means bots. Also, there is another security measure called Cloudflare that new pops up also to make things further frustrating. Well, I'm going to go back to a loyal listener who was just on last hour, but I'm going to go back to him because he has an answer for me. Steve in Vacaville, do you have an answer for me?
It's a funny rant, Greg. I gotta hit it to you. But the whole point of that box is to distinguish bots, like they were saying, from creating fake accounts and spamming. So that's the whole thing. What it's for. And what happens is it does more than just clicking it. It even subtle things like as your mouse starts to move to it, it can start to detect whether it's a human or a non-human doing it, and that's why sometimes it gets faked out. So yeah, if you do see those 9 boxes come up where it says, "Hey, pick the bicycle out of this thing," what's happened there is your movement has simulated a bot, so it's going to the next step to try to prevent the bot from getting through, and that's what that's all about.
I still don't have any
The only
idea
reason
what
I
you
know
just
that is
said.
because my son is heavily into this. What's that?
Hey, Steve, I appreciate you. Thank you very much, and have a good weekend, okay?
You too, buddy. Take care.
Steve would have been better off calling up and talking in Japanese. I would have understood that better, okay?
So actually, he kind of proved our point. It is telling us if you get the 9 boxes, the way that you manipulated the mouse to get to the box that says, I am not a robot, you get the 9 boxes if that was similar to what one of those bots does, which is a program that's a virus program, whatever, that they're sending out to create fake accounts.
All right, here's a computer science major weighing in on the text line. Websites get attacked by bots that try to spam comment sections. I believe that's what Steve was referring to. Create fake accounts, buy up to tickets or buy tickets or products instantly, scrape data, launch cyber attacks, and you're not actually proving anything by the click alone. The system quietly looks at how you behave mouse movements, humans move a little unevenly, time it takes to click, whether your browser behaves normally, your device and browser signals, whether you've interacted with the page naturally. And then he says, I'm a computer science major. I had no idea. Very interesting. I knew there had to be a reason. I know that, like, I'm not clicking a box. I'm not a robot for a particular, like, it's just not there because they didn't have anything else better to do. So I had no idea what that was for. I just think it was odd, and I didn't understand it.
It was a great idea. Great rant, by the way. I echo the sentiments. It looks like we actually have a robot in the text line. Grant, I'm a robot texting you about the Kings winning their 4th in a row from the 916.
Wow. A serious note, not physical robots, but bots that are programs. All right. Well, you know what? What kind of robot are you? Like, are you, we have there's a robot at the arena too, isn't there? Is on the concourse at the arena?
I have not seen it, but there are restaurants here in town that have robot servers.
Yes.
That deliver
You
your
have
food.
to tip those robots? Is that customary to tip the robot if they have good service? I mean, how would that work?
Don't even start me. Don't.
Well, no, I'm just saying if the robot is serving you and it's customary to tip good service, if the robot does a good job, then would that be a 10%, 15%, 20%? And do you just, like, where do you put the tip? Does it have a jar, or does it have a little side pocket? Does it have, I mean, how would you tip the robot? Because I haven't experienced that.
And how does the robot use the tip? I mean,
well, they have to, first of all, go on the internet before they deposit the check into their bank. And they have to put, I'm not a robot. Oh, wait a minute. No, they can't get on the online banking. So no, that, maybe they walk to the bank and deposit face to face, because they would not be able to do online banking. Said, Grant, I had a robot deliver our lunch at a restaurant in the Frankfurt airport on our flight home from Christmas. That's Lynn. Lynn, maybe we're going to have robots driving your Indy cars at the Indy 500 one day. Why not? Right? We're going to have robots flying our commercial airliners one day. I mean, they already have
drones.
Right? Well, but we already have planes that can pretty much land and take off on autopilot by themselves.
Have you seen some of the other? Have you seen some of the other countries that have what are more or less huge drones that carry passengers that don't have a pilot?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about all of this? Will we have robots as officials in sports?
You do.
916-779-0929. Yeah. So I did check to upload all of my material every day. I'm not a robot. I do check that box, Rhino. Just letting you know.
I don't know that we could take a robot, Grant Napear.
I don't think so. No. But if you do, please tip me. All right. I'll make sure I have a special pouch where you can tip me for a job well done.
Not the verbal tip. Just the cash.
No.
Please.
No, just the cash. Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. So the first time I did have a waiter as a robot, it was a trip. Have you experienced that, Rhino?
I have not had a waiter as a robot. I've had a robot drop off food like Lynn. So you got the entire experience from a robot?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Cody says they have robots test out new bowling balls, throwing it at different angles and speeds. Yeah, robots used for everything. So a robot can go bowling, but they can't get on the internet. Just keep that in mind.
But isn't this why everybody's terrified? Because the robot part has been around for a while. The AI part has not.
Right.
And when you match those two up, who knows? Just go look on Netflix and see how many movies there are.
Listen, I grew up in an era without cell phones, without cable TV, without satellite TV, without the internet. You want me to stop? So you're asking me, like, can I imagine? The answer is no. No, because for the first 20 years of my life, there was no internet. And for the first 30 years of my life, that's right, 30 years, no cell phones. No cell phones. So if you were driving somewhere and you had to find where you were going, you had a map that you would open up. All right? Not while you were driving. Or if you were a passenger, you'd be sitting with a big map and you would be the co-pilot of where to go. And if on the map you still cannot figure it out, ask anyone that worked during this era. If you worked at a gas station, there would be multiple times during a day where somebody would come up to you and ask you, hey, do you know how to get here? Do you know how to get there? Excuse me, can you tell me how to get there? Yeah, you go down, every day. You ask any individual during that time that worked in a service station, how often an individual would stop and ask for directions. All the time.
Driving with a map doesn't sound particularly safe. If you were the
I
driver.
said co-pilot.
Well, I know, but what if you're on your own?
Then you would pull over. There's no way you can drive with having a big map open in front of you. It would be basically near impossible. So yes, you had a map. If you didn't know where you were going and you had to find a place, you had a map. There was a map for the state and for the country. But then if you needed a map for let's say you were in San Francisco, you would get a map of San Francisco with all of the streets on it to navigate your way to where you were going.
No, I'm well aware the worst job interview of my life was in a car where he's like, all right, let's go for a ride. And he handed me a map and he said, you're going to give me the directions. And it's an hour ride. That did not turn out well.
By the way, Darth Vader has checked in on the text line and said, I never know how to answer those robot questions. Yes, that would be a problem. All right, enough on robots, enough on maps. Let's talk some sports. Let's talk Kings in the next segment. Rhino, I want your thoughts on how you think this game's going to go tonight. Minutes and rotations. That's next here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580, or go to elitepower.com.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
All right, Kings and Wizards tonight. Sacramento looking for their 4th win in a row. These two teams separated by 1 game in the standings. Domantas Sabonis, good to see him available and ready to go for the Kings. It's certainly been a rough season for Sabonis, and will be very good to see exactly if he'll play, and if so, how many minutes. I think the answer to both those questions, the first one being yes, and the second one is probably 20 or so. I don't think you're going to go overboard on this right away. Do you?
They usually don't bring guys back on minutes restrictions, though. But
I know
the last time with Zach, he did come off the bench. I don't expect that for Domas. Do you?
I don't either. No, I don't either. I don't at all. I think he's probably going to play, I'm guessing, in the low 20s if I had to guess. 20. I'm going to say between 20 and 25.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
And Washington is second in the league, I believe, in blocks off the top of my head. And I think because of that, is going to be a little bit of a clunky game, especially if you're bringing back also Dennis Schroeder. I think it's going to be a contrast to what you've seen stylistically over the past 3 games.
Can I get a text message here and then we'll get back to this, Grant? When I log into the app, it still shouts out, "I'm coming back." Can we take that off? We all know you're back and rocking it. I was not aware of that. Are you aware of that, Rhino?
I was not.
All right, we'll look into that. How many minutes will Dennis Schroeder play tonight? I think he'll play as much as he was before, if not more.
Yeah.
Doug really likes him.
Yeah. I think, assuming Keon does not play, even if Keon does, Grant, or he's available, I should say, those minutes probably go to Monk, with the caveat Keon only played 5 minutes last game.
You're talking Keon Ellis played 5 minutes. Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Right. Yep. Yeah. And then with Dennis Schroeder coming back, anyone that thought that maybe you'd get a glimpse of Devin Carter, that's obviously not going to happen. So here we have with 41 games left. And at what point, I think we're going to have a lot more clarity in the next 3 weeks, because the trade deadline is on the 5th of February. So I think at that point, your roster is pretty much the roster for the rest of the season, with the exception of 10-day contracts.
Yeah, and there's reports out there that there's some teams, probably the teams that are looking to possibly make the bigger moves, kind of pausing and waiting for some more information on some bigger pieces from those franchises, which I think is slowing down what we perceive will be some of the smaller or cordial moves that the Kings might like to make, because those teams might be interested in a Keon Ellis, Grant.
And then there's Jonathan Kuminga with the Golden State Warriors. His teammate Draymond Green gave him a ringing endorsement, as if, like, at his experience level and age 23, should be commended for his professionalism, which I thought was a bunch of nonsense. But I don't know if that's Draymond building up his teammate because they want a deal to get him out of the locker room, or if he really feels that way. I believe it's the latter. I believe he really feels that way about Jonathan Kuminga.
Let's go to the robots. Do they think he feels that way, or do they think that he's trying to get him out of town?
Let's get serious. You want to buy this car, what? Yay or nay?
They think he's trying to get him out of town.
What did you think of what Draymond said about Jonathan Kuminga?
Well, why don't we check it out?
Okay.
The way he's dealt with this at 23 years old, I tip my hat to him because he stayed engaged. He's in here working out every day. His attitude is the same every day. He comes in with a smile. He's talking. He almost talks too much on the bench. And that is a compliment in itself. When you are 23 years old, you signed a big contract with the team that drafted you with the 7th pick, I think 7th or 8th pick in the draft. Things are looking up, and then it doesn't. How do you respond to that? How do you react? And the way he's reacted and responds to this will not only carry the rest of his basketball career, but his demeanor will carry him the rest of his life well, because he's been incredible. And, I tip my hat to him because it's a tough situation, right? Like, there's nothing no one can do about it. It just kind of is what it is. But who can do something about it is him, and the way he handled himself, and he's staying ready. So like I said on the show, whether he's here past the deadline or whether he's moved past the deadline, one thing's for certain is he'll be in shape and he'll be ready. He brings a great attitude. He's one of the best. I say kids calling him young. He's not a kid. He's a grown man. But he's one of the best young guys I've been around. Doesn't have it's me. It's all about me. He doesn't have that attitude. He comes in, he's about the team. So I can't overstate enough just how incredible he's been.
I would like to have Steve Kerr answer that question, which he did, by the way, at the press conference yesterday before the Knicks game. And he said, hey, I don't have a problem with him. He didn't really want to get more into the situation. He was asked, well, we saw you talking with him at shoot-around this morning. What was that conversation? He said, that's private. It's between us. He didn't really go into it in detail. Draymond gave Jonathan Kuminga a ringing endorsement right there.
There's
all I know is he hasn't been playing. He hasn't played since January 2nd.
There's two sides to this. Jonathan Kuminga's hand signed that contract as well.
Yep.
It's not like he didn't know what happened last year.
Correct. Yeah. It's just a situation that I think it's a marriage that needs a divorce. That's how I would characterize that based on everything that's going on.
It's either going to work out really, really well for him, or it's going to work out very poorly, because he has been hyped up over the NBA for the last 6 months, like the shoe to drop, right? Jonathan Kuminga. So many people interested. He doesn't get traded. He's going to get traded this cycle. No, he doesn't. And he has, I guess, Grant, does this raise your expectations if you're a team that goes out and gets him?
No, not at all, because you're not going by what Draymond Green says in your evaluation of Jonathan Kuminga. So there are no secrets around the league, by the way.
Okay, but what about the contract? It's a big contract for a guy that doesn't play. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Is this going to heighten expectations for a team that ultimately gets his services?
Yeah. Good question. All right, here's your bold prediction of the day. Here we are, Friday, 8:27 East Coast time, right? And I'm bringing up East Coast because I'm talking about the Giants and John Harbaugh. It's now been 48 hours since Adam Schefter reported that the Giants had their man and they were working on finalizing a deal. Okay? Here we are, as of right now, at 8:27 East Coast time, 5:27 here in Sacramento. There has been no formal announcement that John Harbaugh has signed and agreed fully to the deal. Now, Adam Schefter of ESPN reported today that the issue was over contract language, not anything else. Contract language, that's probably not anything that you have to worry about. But do you find it interesting that it's now been more than 48 hours since the news broke that John Harbaugh would be the head coach of the Giants, and here we are on Friday evening, and currently he is not the head coach of the Giants?
In a normal situation, yes, but because of his reported asks, it makes complete sense that this is not a standard contract. If he's going to have control over personnel, etc., so I think that's plausible.
Okay. Again, the reports are that it is imminent, but has not happened
yet. Okay. So there are various reports about what's going on. One being that the Giants and Harbaugh are working through, quote, organizational and operational issues. That was from Mike Florio of NBC, and there have been others as well. According to Florio, excuse me, I take that back. According to Jordan Renan, who covers the Giants for ESPN.com, Jordan wrote, my understanding is the Giants and John Harbaugh's side are working through organizational and operational issues, still a gap to close before the deal is signed and sealed.
Grant,
So,
you
yep.
and other Giant fans need to worry if that contract's not signed by the end of the Buffalo Bills game, if the Bills lose.
Good point.
That's when
so
you worry.
You are alluding to the fact that Sean McDermott would not be the coach of the team anymore. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't see any way you can bring him back, especially with more tenured coaches in similar positions, have their teams move on from them or they separate. It seems like it would be the right time, especially open up a new building for them as well.
The question as we move forward, who will the Raiders have as their head coach as they're going through the interview process? There are other jobs that are open as well. But again, who will be the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders? All right. As the Giants try to work out the language in the contract with John Harbaugh. 631 said there's going to be an awful lot of egg on somebody's face if this doesn't go through. Yeah, it sure would. I'll tell you, it would look really, really bad for the Giants. If this for somehow doesn't happen, it's going to look really bad for the Giants, who have had nothing but a revolving door of coaches since Tom Coughlin left the franchise. It has not been good. And yeah, it would not be good for the Mara family. It would not be good for the Giants organization. It would really cast a lot of doubt about the stability of this franchise based on the most recent history of the last 14 years. It would not be good. You're exactly right. I listen, if you're John Harbaugh right now, you're in a phenomenal position. I mean, you are in a perfect position because you are the driver here. You're not the passenger. And you do have the map, not the Giants. And on your map, it tells you exactly where you're going, how fast you're going to get there, and everything else. It's a very detailed map. And you're going to be able to get pretty much what you want in this situation, because you know if you don't get it, there are other teams out there that will give you everything that you want. It's a really good, it's a position of strength, Rhino, that John Harbaugh is dealing with. And that's always great when you're negotiating.
Yeah, how do you feel right now if you're Joe Sheen?
If I'm Joe Shane,
Joe Shane, yeah.
Shane, the general manager?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, you're probably fortunate that you weren't fired in the middle of the year like you should have been. That's how I would feel. I don't think his situation is going to be much longer in New York. I just don't. His longevity is I don't see that with Joe Shane. I really don't. I think he's going to be looking for work here soon. That's my opinion on this. But we'll see. But again, as of right now, Friday evening in New York, late Friday afternoon here, still no deal done with Harbaugh. And I think you make a very good point about what would happen if the Bills were to lose and they went in a different direction with their coach. Would that be an attractive job for John Harbaugh?
Would it look...
Just a thought there.
Okay, does it look bad on both sides, though, if you've verbally agreed to terms? Wouldn't that be... Remember when... Go ahead.
No, because John Harbaugh hasn't made any comment that he verbally agreed to anything. I mean, so...
Yeah.
No, it's not going to look bad for Harbaugh.
Okay, fair enough.
Nope. It would look just really bad for the Giants. That's who it's going to look bad on. Not Harbaugh, the Giants. Now, again, I believe it is going to happen based on the folks that have reported on this and are closest to it. All right. I don't want to say they've used the word formality, but that's what we're talking about. Hey, folks, if you've been waiting to buy a home, then listen up. You must be prepared to act soon for what's about to happen in the real estate market because of the expected Fed rate cuts that will renew the housing market demand. So buyers, like maybe you, will flood the market, bidding wars will happen, and homes will sell quickly. And you need to get your ducks in a row. And the best way to start with an experienced broker, and that guy is Spencer Grimmenstein from Village Financial Group. Spencer's white glove service, boutique experience, one-stop shop method makes it very easy, very easy. Spencer's going to navigate you through the process from start to finish. He has extensive home listings to choose from throughout Northern California. He's got a 30-year mortgage brokering experience, and he is a financing specialist with access to private money that will help you expedite getting your offer accepted and closed. That's what it's all about, right? You want good rates, you want experience, you want to close, you want to move on, you want it to be a great experience. Spencer will provide all of that for you. Give Spence a call or text him at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. It makes sense to call Spence at Village Financial Group. Again, 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Final segment of the week. You know what that means? Our NFL picks coming up next here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Call the good dudes at Gebruds, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Homeowners, if you have an electrical project you need done, then you need the good dudes at Gebruds. Family owned and operated for 30 years, Jay Gebrud and his team are the area's recognized experts for everything electrical, from the very basic like repairs, lighting upgrades, and whole house fans, to the biggies, panel replacements, EV stations, and backup generators. Gebruds does it all and does it right the first time. They're actually the guys their competition recommends. Gebruds, expert 5-star service and always transparent, honest prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Visit Gebruds.com or call 24/7 and speak with a real live person. Gebruds, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gebruds, G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gebruds.com.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Oh, yeah, the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. I'm coming off a 4-2 week. Rhino and Liam, 3 up and 3 down. We've got 5 games because we're going to do the 4 NFL games and the championship game on Monday with Indiana and Miami. Rhino, I'll lead the way, all right?
Yeah, please do.
Since I was 4-2 last week, we're going to go in sequence. We're going to start with the first game of the weekend. That's Buffalo at Denver. Bills, of course, with a close win at Jacksonville. Denver at home. The Bills are getting 1.5 points. I'll ride with the Bills just because of the Josh Allen factor. I'm not going to downplay Denver's season. They were really good, but I'm going to go with the experience here, and I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. I'm just wondering, without Patrick Mahomes, without Lamar Jackson, without Joe Burrow in the AFC to deal with, I just wonder if this is the year they get to the big show. They've got some vulnerabilities. Getting Ed Oliver back at defensive tackle will certainly help. I'll take Buffalo. Give me the 1.5 at Denver.
Either way, this is going to be a close game. I do not think you're going to see a blowout. I think it's going to be close, as you laid out earlier in the show. Cody, you burned me. You and your Broncos far too many times. I think this is going to be a Buffalo win. They move on to the conference title. Dave, as much as I would like to go through a table, I'll just take the 1.5 points on this one.
All right. You've got the next game, and that's your Seahawks that you root for, that team that you love, hosting the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are getting 7 points.
Grant, go Hawks. Riding with the Seahawks.
So he is going to take Seattle and give the 7. What is very polarizing to me, or very interesting to me, is why the spread is so big in this game, right? And are the Niners, are their luck going to run out? Is their luck going to run out? All week I've been saying I'm taking the Niners. I'm taking the Niners. There's something about this number that is jumping off the page at me. And I think the Niners, I hate to say this because I'm probably going to eat my words on Monday. I think their luck's going to run out. I'm gonna ride your coattails here, and I'm taking Seattle too.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Yep. Houston at New England. The Houston Texans are getting 3. I think this is going to be a game that's low scoring. And if it's low scoring, the Houston Texans are going to win. So I'm going to take the 3 points, and I'm going to take the Houston Texans.
I'm going Houston. Defense is just way too good. I also think C.J. Stroud can't be that bad again, Grant. Give me the Texans.
Then you have the Rams and the Bears. Which way are you going, Rhino?
Grant, just like you talked about the Niners, and it feels like the Bears are on a similar wave. They've been playing well, coming back. That city is on fire. It is going to be a cold, cold night. More importantly, I don't like how the Rams have been playing. They should have. They're too good to have not put this together yet this late in the season. Give me the Chicago Bears plus the points.
Yeah, that's 4.5 points. I'll tell you what I think is going to happen in this game. I think that the Rams are going to win a very close game and a low-scoring game. But based on the way the Bears have been playing and based on the fact that the Rams only won by 3 points, I like the points here. I could see the Bears losing but covering. I'll take the home Bears plus 4.5 over the Rams, which gets us to the natty of college football. By the way, Cody has weighed in and said boo to our picks with his Denver Broncos. I knew Cody would. Yes. I knew he'd be listening also. He listens all the time. Have a good weekend, Cody. Good luck to you, buddy.
Yep.
The Indiana Hoosiers, I think the number right now is 8.5 that I have over Miami. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to ride the Cinderella story of the Indiana Hoosiers. I'll give you the points. They've been just destroying everyone. I'll take it. I'll give you the points, and I'll take Indiana.
Yep, the last chapter in Hoosiers 2 gets written on Monday night in Miami. Perfect way to do it on Miami's home field. Fernando Mendoza cements himself as just You know what, Grant? He's a quarterback that is memorable, not just because of his play on the field, but how he carries himself, his enthusiasm. Give me the Hoosiers. Damon Bruce going to be celebrating a national championship on Monday.
We had the same picks, didn't we?
We did. Yes.
Wow. That's the first time all year that we picked the same way.
Okay.
We both picked Buffalo, right?
Yep.
We both picked Seattle. We both took Houston. We both took the Bears, and we both took Indiana. How about that? Wow.
We're all in, buddy. Here we go. We're pushing them to the table. Let me ask you, since we took the same teams, which game are you the least confident in?
I'm least confident in the Niners-Seahawks point spread of 7 points. I think that's a lot of points in a game like this.
I would not feel great about that spread at half of it, at 3.5, just because of how these two teams usually play. And that's where you throw in the Sam Darnold thing as well. I don't trust Drew Lock. You've seen Drew Lock in a New York Giants jersey.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about, just like we said with Chicago, to me, there is something about this Niners team that makes me very, very uncomfortable.
The Bears, 4.5 points. Again, with the weather being the way it is, and the Rams and how they didn't play very well last week. Now, you got to remember, the Bears, they were in trouble in their last game. You know, they've had to come from behind a lot, right? If you look at their game that they had with Green Bay, what did they do? They were getting outplayed for 3 quarters, and they were able to win in the 4th quarter.
They just find a way.
Yeah, they find a way. It's like they're never out of a game.
That defense stiffens up, even though it's been soft for 3 quarters, and they get it done. Kings 6.5 tonight, by the way.
The what?
The Kings 6.5 point favorites. Which way you going there?
I think the Kings, with Sabonis back in the lineup, and I think he's going to look good. I think the Kings win this game by 10 points or more. Washington's lost 4 in a row, on the road. Now, Kings have seemingly, they lose to Washington, it seems like every year, whether it's at home or in the nation's capital. And Washington's been playing better. I think the Kings will cover. What about you?
Yeah, I do think they cover. I think it's going to be a backdoor cover. It's going to be late in the game, probably free throws. This game means something to Doug Christie. It's one of the few times this season. It's a team the Kings should beat while they're on a run. So I do think they win. They make it 4 in a row, but I don't know that it's going to be aesthetically pleasing.
We will talk about it on the postgame show, Jerry, Rhino, and Sacktown, YouTube and X. That will be at about 9:15 or 9:30. At the end of 3, the Pacers lead the Pelicans in Indianapolis 102-93. Again, that's with 12 minutes left. The Sixers at home against Cleveland, 4:40 left in the third. It's 78-73 Cleveland. The third quarter has just begun in Brooklyn, and the Nets have a sizable lead on the Bulls, 57-42. At the break, the Raptors lead the Clippers 61-52. And in addition to the Kings and the Wizards, it is the Timberwolves and the Rockets. 2 good teams there record-wise. Timberwolves really good at 27-14. And when you look, at the Kings' schedule and what lies ahead after this game against the Washington Wizards, the Kings will continue this nice stretch of home games with Portland on Sunday. Then you have Miami Tuesday, Toronto Wednesday, before you hit the road at Cleveland, at Detroit, at the Knicks, at Philly, at Boston to wrap up January. And then on February 1, Washington again. So that's your next couple of weeks.
If the Kings if you're one of those people that think they can get back on track, it has to be this homestand because they have that hard road stand that you just said. And then they've got a big chunk of games at home in March, all of which coming into the season were very winnable or at least reasonable to us.
Yeah, and that Miami-Toronto on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, that's a back-to-back, right?
Yeah.
So you've got Miami on Tuesday and Toronto on Wednesday, albeit the Kings in the last time they just had their, back-to-back home games, it was very impressive, beating Houston and then the Lakers the next night.
Yeah, it's funny how you mentioned the Rockets and the Timberwolves squaring off tonight, because those are two teams that desperately need an explosive kind of point guard that can also spread it out too. That's their
Yeah.
gaping holes.
Just so you understand, the Raptors also play the night before. So even though it's a back-to-back for the Kings with Miami and Toronto, the Raptors the night before are in Golden State. So both teams are coming off games the night before. Just to keep everyone up to date on the schedule, that we don't make too big of a deal out of that. So we'll see. Again, tonight, you worry about tonight, you worry about next week, or you worry about Sunday and next week when you get there. All right.
Get through tonight. Hopefully Domas looks good, feels good tomorrow after the game. He's looked really good in practice, even back almost 10 days ago when he hit the court again. He looked good then as well, going off of both legs. So should be good tonight.
Yeah, we'll see Sabonis on the floor for the first time with Max Reno. So we got something to look forward to there.
Okay. Bold prediction. Is that going to be the point that we're going to be upset about during the post game? That they didn't play together?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have let you finish. No, I think that. No, I think they'll play together. Why, you're skeptical about that?
Well, Doug just doesn't have, and granted, he's been better about it over the last 20 games, but last season he was very hesitant to go double big with Sabonis, Valanciunas. Now, Max is a much different big than Valanciunas, but I wonder if Doug's going to go straight to that well.
I wonder who's coaching the team, because I don't really know the answer to that question.
Either do I.
So, I don't know from an organizational point of view, from a GM point of view, who knows?
I think it's fair to say, and I know we're kind of being direct there, it feels more like a collective that's coaching this team rather than just a coach making the calls.
Well, with Scott Perry's comments that you referred to last week before the game, you intimated that was the way you took those comments. That's the way you understood them.
Yes. It's not normal for a GM to know that.
And particularly say it right before the game.
On Kings TV. That would be something if, you knew Scott and maybe you're off the record talking to him.
Yep.
He would share with you. Just to share it with the fan base seemed very different.
Very odd. Yeah, very difficult. Very different. Don't forget, tonight we've got the post-game show. Same thing on Sunday, YouTube and X. And, boy, do we have a lot to talk about on Monday. We'll break down the entire NFL playoff scenario. Also talk more about the championship game coming up on Monday night with Indiana and Miami. Lots going on this weekend. And, by the way, the PGA Tour getting going again here in this calendar year of 2026. We saw Brooks Koepka coming back to the PGA Tour, but not Bryson DeChambeau at a press conference saying, hey, I'm under contract through 2026, and that's all he would say on that. So for right now, and boy, with the PGA Tour, could they use Bryson DeChambeau right now? Wow. That would be a huge addition if they could get him back on the PGA Tour. Huge. Absolutely huge. I hope you enjoyed my rant today. Don't forget, if you missed the first hour of the show, it will be replayed here in just a couple of minutes. Then we'll adjourn for a little while. We'll watch the game, and then we'll join you over on YouTube. Don't forget about the NFL. Again, good luck to everyone out there. We've made our picks. We are all the same. I guess the real question is, we picked 3 road teams. The chances of that happening are very remote. How big of an advantage is being at home this week? How big of an advantage is it for Seattle? Well, Brock Purdy's never lost in Seattle. How big of it is for Chicago? We don't know. This is all new to them. What about New England? Well, Foxborough's always had a pretty good home field, but they also had a quarterback by the name of Tom Brady. Will the Houston defense be able to duplicate what they did in Pittsburgh. And then what about the Broncos, a number 1 seed? Are they really that good? Are the Bills' deficiencies going to continue to show up, particularly on defense? If the game is close, which of the 2 quarterbacks will make the big plays? Will it be Josh Allen coming down the stretch? Will it be Bo Nix, who's been just outstanding this year in the fourth quarter, especially when his team has been trailing? Of the quarterbacks in that game, everyone's saying Allen, 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 but Nix has been really, really good when the game is on the line. He's been really good. Can't fault him. He's played very, very well this year. When the Denver Broncos have needed a big drive, when they've needed a big final 5 minutes, he's been outstanding. I got to give him a lot of credit. I really do. Defense of Denver is better than Buffalo's defense, but there is that X factor with the experience, and without Allen, weather does not look like it's going to be an issue, so that's good. Should be a really good game. 2 good games. Well, I think all the games are really good. I think these matchups are really good. And then, of course, tomorrow, the 49ers and the Seahawks, the evening game in Seattle. Will Sam Darnold be 100%? Will he look 100%? Will be an issue. Will Ricky Pearsall be on the field? Will Brock Purdy be able to play an error-free game? The NFL playoffs tomorrow. Tonight, YouTube, X, right after the Kings game. Jerry Reynolds, Ryan in Sacktown, myself, looking forward to it. Have a great weekend, everybody. Appreciate your support. Thanks so much for listening here. And I'll be back Monday at 3 o'clock. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about then. Take care, and thanks for listening to the Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Sacramento. Bye-bye now.